Welcome back, everybody, to the First Touch podcast. Today we have a rival talk. Today, and as you can see, a huge panel there, isn't me? So, a lot to be discussed. We're going to start off with the Europa League. Of course, we're going to touch upon the Conference League as well. And then we're going to talk about the big topic for today. Who is actually the biggest club in England, considering that Liverpool and Manchester United are now tied for Premier League titles? You see me? So we'll get into it. Please, everybody up here so have a YouTube channel, and please also follow everybody on them social media. We're gonna put everything in the description. So have full 90 with Kish, CC Sports Labs, Els TV, Yodi, Premier 7, and of course Jeff there. You don't know, say boy Calamity and Tattoo same way, is it? So we are kick it off with the Europa League. Of course, we're gonna start off with the Manchester United fans them first, you see me? So Els and full 90 Kish. Give me on the thoughts on the Europa League final and how on think that one there go.
Well,
Mm,
I'm not nervous about the Europa League final, man. Like I can't be nervous when we're playing Tottenham. Like,
The
you
first
know,
line
Tottenham
that killed the
don't
pod.
they don't win anything. Yes, we haven't beaten them in like however long it is, but it's Tottenham.
Elliot, how aren't you nervous? They've beaten you thrice in this season, bro.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything when it comes to meaning something. We have players like Casemiro that are just gonna stand up and say, "Listen, man, we're not losing this game today against
Yeah,
Tottenham." Because if
but
you lose against Tottenham, then you just have
yeah,
to lose the club. Like I've been saying this, like
Yeah, don't make the Liverpool man them bully, you know.
bro, I'd be
no,
shitting
no,
my
no, no,
pants.
no,
I'd
I
be
can't
shitting
let
my
it get
pants. You guys
no.
lost 3-0 at Old Trafford. You
That's
guys
okay.
lost 1-0 at Tottenham. You lost 4-3 at home again in the Carabao Cup against Tottenham.
Okay, but when I win my
Like,
European trophy, I want to hear you talk
Well,
about
yeah,
that.
let me say this. The
When I
man
win
did
my
say,
European
I think
trophy,
hold on.
you
The
guys are
man
gonna
did
get
say United
Tottenham the
fans.
first trophy.
The
Yeah,
man did say United fans. So let the man talk.
I don't know why this Liverpool fan is here trying to talk at me.
But
This
else,
United fan
let me
talk.
say this, right? Let me add on to
Yeah.
this. In terms of Spurs, I personally give Spurs their respect, right? They beat us
Mm.
on 3 occasions this season. I think twice, well, 2 times under Ruben Amorim and once under what you call him, Eric Ten Hag, right?
Football guy.
The cup game, the Carabao Cup, I think it was a 4-3 game. Bayern there had some mistakes in that game.
Yeah.
But it was a decent performance from United, right?
Mhm.
I'm kind of nervous in the sense that Ange Postecoglou stated that he always wins a cup in his second season, a trophy in his second
Fair
season, right?
point.
He's in
Fair
his
point.
second season now, and despite performing terribly in the league, we've seen that he's found a way to book himself into a final. So I think with Spurs going into the final and Ange Postecoglou stating that already beforehand, I think it's a cause for concern for United fans. And I heard that Ruben Amorim would have lost his there was a recent cup final that he would have lost. So he lost his last final, right? Or something like that. So
Mhm.
I'm a bit nervous. So I think it'll be a tense moment for me personally going into that game. But I think it's a game that can go either way, in terms of my feelings, if we lose, it really matter to me. I just want Ineos get some business.
Never,
How
never,
are we gonna
never
get business
bone.
if we don't win?
You see me have a bone for pick with you when it not really matter. I don't really like that statement there. But Premier 7, as a Manchester
No,
United.
before I go to Premier 7, it not really matter. The one the FA Cup last season, it never mattered to me. Like the poor run against Coventry, Newport,
Mm,
like what was it, Newport or Stockport, something like so. Like
Newport, yeah, Newport
yeah,
County.
like bro, like
nah, bro.
I never feel happy winning the FA Cup. Like we win it, but
You
so
mean?
what?
Every single trophy matter, in my opinion.
I
And once
agree.
you're in the competition, you must want win it. No
You gotta
matter
win it.
who. It could have been Mount Pleasant, yeah, play. Yeah, you need for one win. You have to want win. No matter who you play, once you're in the competition, you need to win it. And there is some incentive that Manchester United need, because financially we do need the backing of the UCL right now
That's huge.
for certain targets. So the winning this competition for me I go help with next season regardless. So if for me you would definitely need to win this competition. I'm very nervous about playing Spurs because as El said, bro, as the man say, them beat with 3 times. I kiss you that. Them beat with 3 times, bro. So I have to give them respect. But for
Fair
a
enough.
team beat
Fair
with
enough.
four
Fair
time
enough.
in a season is kind of crazy. So I'm gonna think that I got is
Fair
it. So
enough.
me I go back Manchester United and so we I get that win there. But Premier
You're a
7.
Manchester United fan. Me expect you to back yourself. Even if you think you're gonna lose, you're gonna come out and want to say you're gonna win. But really
No,
and
I'm not
truly,
think no,
between
I'm not think we're gonna lose, to be
I have to
honest.
be
you are
confident because
going
we
to
have to win
lose.
that game. We
But
have to
hold
win
on,
that game. Like,
before the rival them jump in, Premier 7, what do you think as a United fan as well?
All right. Before I even talk, the show is on fire already. For me personally, as a person who plays sports, I have the nerves here and there about how the season started for United. Spurs, they do have a bad season as well, but to compare them with us matching up against each other, we have to be, well, not all of us, but I am somewhat nervous. And to be honest, I am somewhat happy that two of their key players are injured. So at least I can say then that's an advantage. I don't care what anyone says. I cannot say we're going to win the Europa League, but I am hoping. But if we win the Europa League and then person start to say, because Madison injury, and because I would just say I don't care because we have won the
No, man, I'm not
trophy.
give a shit about
I
that.
mean, everybody have their
Who
different
cares about injuries?
exactly. So everybody have their different opinions. I heard Kish said that in terms of the trophy that we won it, he wasn't really impressed. That's his opinion. But for me, remember we talked about Arteta earlier on, In order for him to be matched up against the top coaches, he have to prove something.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm.
And we know we cannot erase the history from the Premier League right now, but I am using a simple thing to say I checked the league's table over the years and I saw that Chelsea's lowest position was 12. And we are below that. And I'm ashamed. And it is not a
Definitely,
trophy. I am
definitely.
hoping Spurs stay below us in the Premier League table as well, just to avoid the banter. So, apart from that, in regards to the Europa League, I am nervous. I'm just hoping that our players remains fit. Assessing the different games though, we need to go out and score goals early as possible because if we don't
Yeah,
and Spurs hit us with a goal
yeah.
by with like a Solanke, we will be in deep waters.
That's where I have
That's
a
Mm.
bit of
my
a
first
nerves.
point.
If
Right.
we concede
All right,
first,
all
like
right.
Arteta,
CC and Yodi, as the rivals, them. Oh, you kind of see that Europa League yeah, pan out.
Go ahead, City.
All right. So for me, in terms of the Europa League, I think it's a battle of two. As we don't want to say minnows, but at this point in time, you have two teams that are really struggling. I think Tottenham is a better team than where they are in terms of the personnel that they have. They're a better team, but I think Anje is just that manager who is stuck in his ways in terms of playing that eye line, even when they had the bunch of defenders missing. They had a lot of defensive pieces, key pieces missing. And if you notice, la- apart from other teams that uses the long ball, and think Liverpool, you can say this as well. Liverpool uses a long ball strategy where they exploit the speed of Mohamed Salah to get in behind defenses quickly and score, especially in that first half of the season. And I think the only other team that could have replicated that style of play would have been Tottenham because they had the likes of Kulavetsky and they had Young
Done.
Min Son as well.
Hmm.
So I think with that space, with that pace out on the wing, I think they could have used that more and they didn't. But in coming into this final, I think both teams will want to win it. They need it. I think Tottenham haven't won a trophy since what 2008 when they
Yeah,
won I think the Carling Cup at the time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So they will want to win a trophy. As Harry Kane has won his first title for however long, and it would be a fairy tale to know that Harry Kane has won his first trophy,
And
and in
Son.
the same season, Son wins his first trophy, and Tottenham wins their first in a period of time. But I think Manchester United have the upper hand in terms of an advantageous position. And if Bruno Fernandes, who I think is a top, I would say one of the top 10 midfielders in the world right now, I think if
Definitely.
Bruno is on his game, I don't think Tottenham, especially that Madison is out, I don't think Tottenham will stand a chance. I think once Bruno is on his game, there's no way Bruno is leaving that final without that medal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, go on, Jeb.
I think that's the key. That's why I'm laughing because we're counting on Bruno Fernandes being on his game. But I'm not going to make
What
fun
that's
of your
supposed to
baller.
mean?
Hold on.
oh,
So
oh
when
yeah,
has he
Ahmad,
not?
wait, but
Hold on,
Ahmad,
hold on, hold on.
we have
When has he
Ahmad. We
not
don't
been
just
on
have
his
Bruno
game?
Fernandes.
This
Shackles.
Europa League campaign. When has he not been on his game?
I'm just saying. I never say he has not been on his game, and I was just saying it's contingent on him
Plus,
being on his game.
remember,
But
say Ahmad is now back as well.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
I,
Ahmad is here.
well, I mean, Um, I won't pretend like I have much to say in this in terms of this battle of mediocrity. I don't even know which position on it in, to be honest. Tati, you know what them there?
Manu,
Yeah, the two
15th
of
and
them.
16th.
15,
I
15,
see.
16,
Brother,
15,
I
16.
even I
check,
don't even know where they are,
No,
but
the Prem
Yeah,
is overrated,
we
man.
can't
The
really
Prem.
see them.
Now the league
but
table
check
yeah,
your
is
my
play in the
is
currently,
terrible,
conference
dog.
league. What are you
my
talking about?
currently, my currently see them, but
But I have a point, like really and truly, cause me hear Kish say you know really mute
I
a team, and it really bothers me.
It in
Cause
all right. So hold on. I think it's interesting. As I said, all right. First of all, let me say I want Tottenham to win this battle of mediocrity, just
Wait, but
because I
you're a
think it would
Chelsea
be.
fan. So what
Yeah,
you want
Why
Tottenham
is
but
win?
a Chelsea fan want
yeah,
that?
but I just because it's going to be funny. I imagine losing to Tottenham. Imagine losing a cup final against a team who
Yeah, yeah. And
most
that is
people
exactly
have
why I'm
never
nervous
seen
as
lift a
well.
trophy. And I mean, you guys know, well, the two of you guys will know, I'm a big fan of Ange. Like I'm a big fan of Tottenham. I just like seeing them play football. Whether them losing or winning, it's always entertaining.
mhm.
Um, but in terms of it not mattering, I think that's interesting. I do think what he's trying to say is it not really
The standards
change
need
the
for raise.
price or
Yeah.
rise for him. Yeah, but I don't think it's a case where I'm saying I don't care who wins. I think it's more from a place of,
Mm, I'm going to
you
press it,
know,
but more CC. I go say
I
Fergus.
think
Say.
I think there's more to, as you said, for the standard should be higher. But I
Mhm.
mean, it's the Europa League at the end of the day. I won't pretend like it's a scrub trophy. Chelsea won it the year after they won the Champions League.
Mm.
Um, at the end of the day, I want to end the season with a title, especially if you're going to come in the bottom five. Like at least win a European trophy. You get me? So that's my
Yeah.
take on it.
Yeah.
CC, you as a Chelsea fan, like Jav just explained that him not really feel away if Spurs win, or like if Spurs. You as a Chelsea fan, how you say that?
I think. All right. You see, Chelsea's rivalry with Spurs is not as deep rooted as Arsenal's rivalry with Spurs. So in
Okay.
terms of Spurs winning, I think it's because of Young Min's. I think I love Young Min's son in terms of his play, how he carries himself. I just think is the quintessential professional
Do
when
you
it
think
comes
he
to.
was world class?
Yeah, man. I think Son has been world class for a number of years in his career. I don't know if he's still world class now because for me, world class, world class to me means the top five players in your position within a season.
I can
So
see where you said it, so.
so for me, if it's like world class is not a forever stamp. So you can be
Mm-hmm.
world class
Mm.
this season, but probably if you drop off of the farm and you're not at that level, then I wouldn't necessarily consider it. So for me, it's the top five players at every given position. So if I would say top five wingers, I would use 10 because you have left and right. So the top 10 wingers in the world, that's world class. If you're moving from 10 now and gone into 11 and 12 and 13, then we're splitting hairs because you're going to find that the quality is going to be a drop off. And world class to me means you walk into any team, any country if you were able to play for them. So I think Son, at the height of his career in his prime, could have walked into any top team, any top country, and started. It's just
Unless
he
that
was
team had a nigga world class player.
unless they have another world class player at his position.
Mm.
And I
Which is
think even if they had another world class player at his position, they would find a way to even probably play him at a false nine because there were not many probably centre forwards that were scoring much more goals than him. So I think with that being said, that is how I think we'd have to look at it. That is just how I look at it. So for me, because I put the final thing on it is that in the NBA, just to juxtapose, them have a thing called all NBA teams, right? And
mm,
only 15 players makes the all NBA team. First team, second team, third team. NBA is considered of 450 players run about that. So that's
Mm.
like 3% of the league. In world football, in the top five leagues, if we were to look, it's probably 3,000 players, give or take. So if I should say 55 players, I have like 55 to 60 players as world class. That's like 3%. Because it cannot be that you have 50% of the world, the football, the top leagues are world class players.
Mhm.
Then we wouldn't necessarily say that. So for me, it's like a 3%. 3% of the top five league is world class players. and then you have elite players after that, and then good players.
No, all
Mhm.
right. Kish, like really and truly, like how me see if I was a Man U fan, like really and truly, they a 15, possibly I can drop to 16, 17 position in the league. Like winning this Europa League, I feel like are the only way you not have something to say about this season. So yes, my understanding for overall for Manchester United, the Europa is not the Europa trophy probably is nothing for the legacy, which is true. But for this season, I'm based on like banter, and I probably not really see banter as a big thing for you. But the other fans are more they like calamity with me. I got pressure. Winning that Europa League, you have something for say against for your season for remain. That's okay. Probably never did have a good season based on performing, but you come out successful with a trophy. Now that's all I have to say.
Uh,
I also just feel like everybody are treat it like the Carabao Cup. Like it no for real, like it is the Europa League
It is Europe, the
trophy.
second in command
It's the
It is
after
a good
second.
Champions
trophy.
League.
It's
It is. It
it's
No,
is.
it's the
I think
second.
I'd like to say something. I think first
Yeah.
of all, no dissent to the Europa League competition. I think I've seen managers like Unai Emery winning it thrice with Sevilla. I think this is a massive competition. But the funny part is we have a Dumb and Dumber going on a hippie trip, right? Man United and Tottenham, right? These clubs are on
This guy,
15th
man.
and 16th.
This
Wait, let me
guy
land. Let
right
me land.
here.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, it doesn't matter if any of these clubs win the Europa League because next season again they're not going to be in the top 10. It doesn't matter.
Worry,
well,
worry,
Yeah,
let me
worry,
say
yeah.
this,
worry.
right? In
They
terms of
won't
the
be in
Hold
the
Europa
on,
top
League,
10.
hold on,
Yeah.
it's
hold
not
on,
so much
hold on,
about.
hold
And,
on.
Let me say this,
I'll tell
right?
you one last thing. Yeah, one last thing. Even if United win the competition, they're gonna get knocked out of the group stages in the Champions League next
No,
season.
we're
Hold on, hold
not.
on, hold on, hold
And it
on.
doesn't
Here why
matter.
me have a
Nah, you
It
need
problem
to
doesn't
with that.
matter.
relax,
Here
bro.
I'm
why me
happy.
have
You
a
need to
problem with
relax,
that.
man.
That too.
I'm beating
Here
in
why
Europe
me
for a
have a
reason,
But
problem
okay?
with that. Me have a problem with that because everybody was saying that Athletic Bilbao is the favorite for the competition. Athletic Bilbao is a champions. It's going to be a Champions League
Seven
team
hot
next
ones.
season. I
yes,
will clap
Seven
them
hot.
7-1. So I
Seven.
don't think it's just cut and dry that just because
Calamity, your team was
we're
just
shit
best
this
on the day.
season.
That's all.
I,
I
Let me
think
say
who
if
this,
you
right? In terms of the Europa League trophy, it's not so much about moving the needle for United in terms of legacy or anything like that. I think the league position is more important, and obviously with like 3 or 4 more games to go, we can't save our season in terms of finishing fourth or anything like that, right?
exactly.
However, I am null or dull to the feeling of United in general this season. So winning the Europa League, if we lose, nobody can banter me about it because I am looking forward to what Ineos is going to do in the future. Right now, I'm looking at what Ineos is planning on doing in terms of getting players through the door, in terms of making this team better come the summer and come next season. Europa League doesn't do anything for me. When I felt away about the Europa League, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was at the club and he finished in the top four, we played against Villarreal. We had multiple chances with Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford. And that was a season where we were on a high. We played some good football in the league, finished in the top four, I
That
think
was
third or
Sevilla.
second that season. And we lost to Villarreal. I felt away because we were doing good in the league, and then we go in the final, and David Dea, as he walk up, me say like, you can't just tell him say he never wanted the penalty. So I felt that way when we lost that final. But against Spurs, the league is just bad. It's a poor season. So I don't really have no emotions
and
surrounding
No,
the
and
Europa
that's
League.
and
honestly
that's
for the
bro.
United
These, you know
fans,
what?
for
These
the
are the same
United
United fans. I'll tell you. These four are the same United fans who wanted Harry Maguire out. Yeah, and now he's scoring
Bro, but
winners.
no,
but
I
so
still want
so
Bro,
Emigrate.
so
I still
all
you
want
right,
see,
listen,
you
Emigrate.
listen.
wouldn't
I
you
Let me
still
wouldn't
just
want
say,
stand
him.
a
let me
chance
let me
against
just say
Leon Bates.
like
You
you
wouldn't be
this
here.
year.
You
Let me
wouldn't be
tell you,
sitting
like
here and discussing football with us if it
Hey,
weren't for
me
Harry Maguire,
still
no, but
want
right?
Harry
listen,
Maguire
Listen,
for come.
man. Listen, man.
Me
Next
Maguire
year,
could
is
let's
put
go
this
to
out.
Liverpool.
Me could put this out. You this year for banter, right? Maguire still out. Mason Mount still out. Rasmus Hojlund
Yeah,
still out. Me
me
not really care if
still
Harry Maguire
want
wants to
them
score
man
for
there.
United and get with you. Like, me no
Yeah.
business. He's not good enough. Like,
Right?
okay, he scores a goal, fair enough. Like, okay, what should he get? Flowers?
But
I don't know.
Did you
So
see him in the
so
Arsene,
last
hold
game?
on. So
Did you
so
see
you
him in the last game?
I think he's good. I think this season Maguire has been one of your best defenders, the most consistent, and He's not been injury prone this season. You have Lisandro Martinez who hasn't been. He's been getting butchered, and you call him the butcher. Literally, he's licking people's armpits when he's trying to aerially contest for the ball. Yeah, that's what he's doing, bro. That's the
But
uh,
truth.
but even to you this point, remember they got rid of Scott McTominay, and Scott McTominay that season was their best player. So
huh?
what is Manchester United going to keep
Wait,
on
wait,
doing?
wait, wait, wait,
What?
Get
wait.
rid
I
of
need to
their
stop
best
you
Hold
player?
on,
right there.
hold
I need to
on.
stop
Scott
you right
McTominay
there.
has
Nah,
never
nah.
been
Before you can
Manchester
say,
United's best
Scott
player.
McTominay
Never,
has
listen,
scored
ever,
more
ever,
goals
ever.
than Rasmus Højlund has. Literally, that is a fact.
But Jack Swagger is not a good striker. We don't worry about Jack Swagger. Like that's we don't compare Scott McTominay and Jack Swagger. They're the same thing. They're both bad. Both of them are bad. You know what I'm
True.
saying? McTominay was not our best player last season. He just
Never, ever, ever.
I
could
think
just strike the ball.
the team is just bad. But I do have a question. Outside of United being terrible, what do you guys think about Arsene Wenger's comments basically suggesting that because of how terrible the team is, if they win the Europa League, they should not automatically qualify for the
That's
Champions League?
bullshit. That's
Rubbish.
bullshit. Rubbish. And I feel like Arsene Wenger only make this comment because the position where Arsenal is in, them now go, but they are gonna be trophyless, and him see a fact where a team have finished 16 or 15 in the Premier League table are gonna be the champion for the Europa League and possible be qualified for the Champions League next season. That was
They could
already the
even
rule.
they
Make
could
the
even be
mistake.
First
they
of all,
could even be the champions for Europe because what if
First
them
of
go
all.
and beat the winner of the Champions League?
First of
If
all,
they let's just say they win.
why Arsene Wenger all these years when him a competing at the Europa, why him never put out them wild statement that when him a competing at Europa League?
I see. All right,
Why
so
and no?
not that I agree with him, and I can't even say that I agree with the basis of what he's saying. However, I think the basis of what he's saying is you're in the bottom five and you're going to go and win a knockout competition and you're going to now we're going to have 6 teams. Either way you
Hold
take
on,
it, we're gonna have
let me
six
stop. Let me
teams.
stop it right there. Just not. I don't want to cut your point, But the FA Cup, when you win the FA Cup, which competition do you
It's
qualify for?
no,
Europa
I
League.
am right.
No, I'm
I
just asking. Which competition do you
yeah,
qualify for?
yes, it's
So if
Europa.
Coventry, what I not say if Coventry City in the championship wins the FA Cup, they're playing in Europe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
But they're not a top tier. They're not in
Yeah.
a top tier league. They're in the
right.
second division. So
So
that
that's
so
what I'm
to
saying. It's not that I agree, you're kind of supporting the point I'm trying to make because I'm saying it shouldn't matter. I'm saying, however, the
Shouldn't matter.
basis of his argument seems to be that they're in the bottom five. There and now we're going to have 6 teams. That's another thing that I feel like a lot of people did ignore. He was also trying to make the point that there are now going to be six, 'cause regardless of it's them or Tottenham will win. We're gonna have 6 teams in the Champions League next year. When we look at that Champions League table, we have 6 teams from England. And that's another point he was trying to make. However, um, even the Coventry point that you made is valid, 100% valid. But Coventry winning the FA Cup is a big deal because that would suggest that they beat teams who are
Like
in the
Man
Premier
City,
League,
Liverpool,
right?
Arsenal.
Whereas I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like the fact that you had to pull on the
But
Coventry example, which I completely agree with. When don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I agree with Wenger, but the point that you would have to pull on an example from a League Two team, you get me
me,
to almost support the point. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Like, yo, why should they be rewarded for it? But overall, I
but
think it's
me
garbage.
think
It's not
Calamity,
a valid
before,
point. I don't think it make any sense.
hold
Calamity,
on.
before you go in, right? I
The
think
No,
man
what
them
we
man,
must
win.
understand
me,
is
me
that you teams being in the Europa
Yeah.
League this season is based on success from the previous season. So if United did finish like say fifth place, right, and they place in the Europa League for
mhm.
this season, that has them being 16th has nothing to do with
Nothing
Have
to do
nothing
with,
to do
you
with
know
yeah.
it has to do with
true.
last season because they finished in a Europa League
Right.
spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And him saying
The thing
five or
is,
six teams being in the Champions League.
But
Okay, if
it's I get your point, Jeb.
if
I get your
Atletico,
point, Jeb. Yeah,
if
go on, go on.
Bilbao had beaten United and they booked their place in the final and they won, that would be like what 5 La Liga teams in the Champions League. 5 is not far from 6. So
I think
Right.
five. I think La Liga have five
La
teams
Liga going
qualifying.
to have 5 anyway.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I
five
think
in
they
yeah,
just
no
Yeah.
five in
last
Spain
year.
and five in England.
Remember this year Champions League had Germany and Germany and
Spain
Italy at the extra spots. They had 5
had the
teams.
extra
No,
No,
La
Spain
spots.
has
Liga
five too.
and
Spain
Premier
has
League.
five as well.
I know.
Yeah.
La Liga and Premier League have
Yeah,
the
and I
extra
think
spot
something
now.
that I think PSG, not PSG, Liga is getting a
Liga
extra space to
Three. They
qualify.
got three.
The quality, but they're getting a 4th spot to enter the qualifiers to
Yeah,
get
So
into the Champions
yeah,
League.
if
yeah,
Athletic Bilbao was to win the Europa League, there would be 6 Spain teams.
yeah.
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 Exactly.
So
But
and
the
my
sad
thing,
part is the next year, like the Premier League representation in the Champions League is gonna be very bad. It's gonna be
my
really
no,
thing,
poor.
but
my
no,
thing,
but
Yeah.
my thing.
Bilbao.
Arsene Wenger
It will
actually
be. Like
exposed. I think Arsene Wenger actually exposed himself a little bit here with this because I see him say something right here. So woman, kind of find out him agenda. I gotta just pull it up to make everybody see it. So
Why would
Arsene
they? What?
Wenger suggests that Arsenal should be allowed to win the Europa League. Teams losing UCL semi-final
Wait,
should
what?
drop down into the Europa League final. First, they'll play against each other. Then they'll face the Europa League winner. Whoever win that then takes home the Europa League trophy.
What kind
So
of
he must say the team
He's
them
a
will lose
sore
the
loser.
semi-final. He must say the team them will lose the semi-final. Supposed to play the Europa League winner, and whoever win that win the Europa League trophy.
Yeah,
Find
I
out
think
him
that's just
agenda.
And
that's just a utopian vision, like a utopian way of seeing things. Like everything, like the most performing teams in the world enter the UCL semifinals, and they have a right to play in the Europa League. And I don't really agree with the final part, like what Wenger says, but yeah, I think it's stupid what he said, but at the same time, I get what he's trying to say.
That's what
But
I'm
yeah,
saying. I
yeah,
don't agree with like you did say. I don't agree with what he's saying. Some
yeah,
people I don't think can they literally cannot see it. Like they don't see the basis of what he's saying. While I don't agree with it, I hear it.
yeah,
No,
I just don't think it
this
make
is
any
his
sense.
first statement. There is some basis to it, but this statement
Let
right
me ask
here
you
is
this question,
No,
complete
yeah,
right?
rubbish.
this don't make any
Let me ask you
sense.
this
this
is completely
question. When
bullshit.
Leicester City had won the league, right? They
Mhm.
qualified for the Champions League. That season, how much did Leicester City finish the season following when
The
they
following
70.
relate?
season, I think they finished, but I think I'm sure they
Them
finished in the
finish
top
like
10.
eight.
All right,
Yeah,
Eight.
top
one
10,
like
8 or
nine or
whatever the
something
case
like
is. And they
that.
went
Yeah,
as far as to what? The quarterfinal played against Atletico
Yeah,
Madrid and
against
lost to
Atletico
Arsenal.
them.
Madrid, yeah.
Yeah, that's what
So,
we did.
I
Yeah.
mean, again, them being in the Champions League is down to the success of the previous season.
No, no,
You know,
but Kish, again, you have to put context behind it. Remember that following season, them lose them important players. Player like Conte went away, player like
Yeah,
they
Mars went
yeah.
lost
away.
Mahrez.
No, but
Mars.
just I say,
But
regardless of that,
hold
right?
on,
No, but
I
regardless of
want to
that,
say
he
this.
must say
I'll
them
put it like
Yeah,
success was hingent
but
on the previous season, not the
but
Yes.
none
Yeah,
season
of
yeah,
where
us
yeah, yeah,
are
everything.
yeah, yeah,
none
yeah,
of
yeah,
us
yeah,
are
Kish, yeah.
suggesting that what Wenger is saying is right. I just as I said, I just brought it up because
no.
I haven't heard much. At least I never get to discuss it in our space
But
Isn't it?
about it.
I think Wenger is basically circumventing what Europe and what association football stands for. Like in
Yeah.
North America, you don't have promotion, you don't have
Yeah.
relegation, right? This is just a form of promotion and relegation. You win the
Mm.
lesser competition, you get promoted to the higher
Exactly.
Ah,
competition.
yeah,
Higher
The
which
competition.
is
Yeah.
reason why if you win the Champions League, you know what they do? If you win the Champions League, you're automatically into the
Physically,
Champions League
yeah,
the next season.
Yeah,
Basically,
exactly.
so even if your team never qualified for the in a
Yeah,
Champions
for
League
the
spot,
Champions League, sure, yeah, league.
you would have
Yeah,
gotten this spot. But that
of course, they should be rewarded for it. I agree,
no, but
CC.
no, I'm just saying it's the promotion relegation system. So if you win the conference league, so for example, Chelsea, my team right now, if we were finishing 10th, but we won the conference league, we would have been in the
But in the
Europa
Europa
League
League,
In the Europa League.
because
Yeah.
it's a natural progression. We are getting promoted by virtue of winning. So it's
Yeah.
not like we come fourth, fifth, or in the competition. We have to win it in order to get to the next competition. And I think he has to understand that the promotion system, the relegation system that has been in football, if you should say it should change, this competition should change, then that means the team that wins the championship should not be in the Premier League.
mm. All
Agreed.
right. So we're gonna up, skip, and jump from the Europa
Last
League
point,
over to
last
the.
point,
All right, go
last
on.
point. What I will say about the Europa League this season, I feel like the run has been very easy due to the fact that you don't have teams from Champions League dropping down. I remember a couple seasons ago, you had the likes of Barcelona, Napoli, Atletico Madrid, some of these teams, and it was a bit more difficult. I remember Arsenal playing Atletico Madrid in what, like quarter semi-final. Atletico Madrid did beat them.
That's how Chelsea
So
won in
Yeah. Arsenal
2013
lost
as
yeah,
that
well.
game. Just to let you all know.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's how
Arsenal.
Chelsea won one
That's
time, and
how
that's how
Chelsea won in
Atletico Madrid won
2013.
one
Yeah, and
time.
that's
But
how
the thing
Atletico
is,
won.
the thing is why I don't really care about that is because the teams them that do drop down, they rarely win it. Chelsea won it once, Atletico Madrid won it once, and that's it. So it's
True.
normally the teams that start in the competition will end up winning it anyway. So that's why I don't really see that as a big factor. Yeah, Conference League. Over to the Conference League
I
now.
can't believe we
Chelsea,
there so I talk about Conference League and Europa. Them thing are
yeah.
madness. Anyway,
Chelsea in the
Yo, Tato,
Conference
hold
League
on. Tato, which
final with
competition your team doing again?
oh yeah,
FA Cup.
the FA Cup.
But yeah, go through. Sorry.
Yeah, Chelsea in the Conference League final now set to face Real Betis, Anthony and Isco them. You see me, so Oh, you see that
I
one
believe
there,
it
got Jeff
was
and CC.
Before we
How do
start
feel
we,
about
that,
that?
we sit
can I
down here
please
start
say
talk about
congrats to
Anthony.
all of the Manchester United player them that went off and done great thing in the other clubs. I really want to
Okay,
highlight that.
that's true. That's true.
Honestly,
Okay.
really want to highlight that.
That's true.
Yeah, that
All
money
right,
back,
Jeff.
man.
Oh, no, see that one there, go. Phone the club.
Let me see go first.
All right, so for me, I think Real Betis is on they're on our form. They are on good form.
Mm.
Good run in the competition so far. I mean, it's a final, so it's a team that shows up. But there's one thing that I always give Chelsea confidence in: whichever competition that we are in, unlike another club in London, we don't participate. We have won every single competition that we have been in. And whether it be the Carabao Cup, whether it be the FA Cup, whether it be the Champions League, whether it be the Europa League, whether it be the Premier League, it doesn't matter the competition. And I think with the players that we have at our disposal, I think the coach did them a disservice when he was saying, I don't think they can compete for the Premier League this season. And I think it took a mental I
Yeah, I
think it
think
took.
that's where
I
the
think the team
downfall
took
at
a
Chelsea
mental.
started.
Yeah. So I think we took a mental hit when that happened. I know there's a lot of things to work out in terms of goal scoring, getting forward. But I think when it comes to the Conference League and in terms of salvaging the season,
I think Jeff would.
Okay, but anyway, Jeff, you can take over.
That Conference League way for
Yeah. Um. um. I mean, shit, like so I do disagree with in like where the downfall started. I think as I've said on don't know if it was a rival talk episode before. I do think that the downfall of Chelsea started not with him saying that we're not competing for the league or whatever. I think it started with injuries. I think injuries in critical positions. I think that's what caused the problem. I think the first domino that fell was Fafana, and while he's not Virgil van Dijk, the one thing that the Chelsea team had going for them was continuity. And the second Fafana came out the team, then it was then it was Jackson, then it was Madueke. Again, all players who
What about
you
Lavia?
guys, some of you guys know how I feel about them. Lavia,
Right.
exactly.
Lavia.
Um, I know Enzo had a situation with his wife, or I guess ex-wife, and played 5 games of football, and then he was more or less subpar after that, up until recently. So I feel like I just wanted to say I don't think that was a downfall in terms of the game itself. I don't even know what to feel because Chelsea make average players look really good all the time. And I fear watching that final and seeing Anthony dribble and probably score a goal.
We are
I
call
genuinely
average.
do
Anthony
fear.
are call average.
Yeah, I'm calling him
Are you the
average.
The
man?
goat.
Um,
Anthony's the
Everybody,
best
and
right
and
winger in
and
the
Anthony got
world.
Ballon
Did you not
d'Or.
know this? Like,
Ballon d'Or
and
2025.
best right winger in
and
the world.
and
No, but then,
the
yeah,
truth is, I mean, I'm not as confident with Chelsea in the finals. I've seen Chelsea go to multiple FA Cup finals in the past. Some against UD, one against UD's team playing against the under 23s that was still couldn't win the game. Chelsea's problem is consistently putting the ball in the back of the net, especially in crucial games, especially in the finals. Their games against City, even before they were garbage, that we had a lot of chances to score goals against them and we didn't take them.
I
And
think
I
even
think
here against
that's
Leicester
going
too
to
as
be
well.
yeah, and I think that's going to be the issue at the end of the day. Do I think we can keep possession? Sure. Do I think that we can put out a formidable team? Sure. Like, I sure hope that Lavia is fit on the day of that final. But then, as I've talked about before, like my best right back is also my best midfielder.
I say Lavia is your best man. No, second man. I think Caicedo is your best.
Yeah, Caicedo is the best,
Caicedo is your
but he's
best.
also the best right back as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah,
also
yeah.
you're faced with the problem of do I bench my club captain and my best natural right back and play that midfield trio of Caicedo, Lavia, and Enzo, so Cole Palmer can work more with Madueke on the right side.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters what we do around the back. It doesn't matter what we do in the middle. The problem will be up front. Will Chelsea be able to put the ball in the back of the net? And I don't trust any of the front three to put the ball in the back of the net. I don't know who the front three will be. I'm sure it's gonna be Jackson, Madueke, and somebody. I wish it was Neto, Sancho, and
Neto, it's more
Jackson,
like to go with Neto.
but he's more likely to go with Neto. Madueke played a game on the left side the other day, and
He was
fans
good.
seem to be he was. I mean, yeah, I won't even say fans seem like he was decent as El said. I don't think you have that look again though.
Mm.
And then also, I just feel like we have to have a strong midfield against, no matter his age, Isco will walk through that Chelsea defense if he gets the opportunity to.
And Cardoso.
And yeah, and exactly. So, yeah, I think our best bet is I wouldn't even run the risk of starting Reece James. First of all, I can't afford to play a player that I'm not sure can give me 60 minutes. Like I don't want the situation where I have to sub him off after 20 minutes. I'm wasting a substitute window and I'm wasting a sub.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
now everybody knows how it goes. You start games with a particular formation and system in mind. If you sub off Reece James, you probably don't go to Caicedo at right back. You probably go to Gusta at right back.
Mm.
Which just changes the dynamic of it. Now, do I get to see Lavia at all in that game if I don't start him before? There are just so many questions. And then, I wasn't even going to talk about it. I don't know who's going to be in the
Yeah.
goal. It doesn't
You know
matter
what?
who's in the goal. I don't trust them. Well, I
Like
mean,
I'm
I
just
guess we'll see.
I'm just gonna touch base on Chelsea for a moment here, right? Like in totality, your season has been really average. I would say that. Like you started off really well, you were in the top three, and then you just completely fell off, became
Fair enough,
irrelevant,
for sure.
and now you're in the Conference League finale for sure, right against Real Betis. Like one of the first things I have to say is I think Anthony is going to have a ball of a game against Chelsea because I don't think Cucurella is a good defender of spaces. I think
I agree.
Cucurella is an aggressive defender. He's a really aggressive defender, but at the same time, he cannot really defend in behind. That's one of the problems.
And he can't
Second,
chase the ball either.
he
Yeah,
can
he
chase,
can.
Milo one
and
for
I
me.
think he's really susceptible in those situations. But I would like to talk about a couple of other players too, like Colwell, Chaloba. Again, Chaloba just came back from loan from Crystal Palace, right? I think he's a good, astute defender. But Colwell, man, like I
His
think his performance
physicality.
against
I do not
Liverpool
want
was
to
good.
talk about Levi Colwell.
Yeah,
Please,
I
like
think
even
he's
please, I don't want to talk about it.
but if you
Colwell,
actually
bro,
see
for
the
me,
overall
Colwell is
dynamism of
overrated.
he's
him,
not
right?
that, but he's not that bad. But his
He's
physicality.
overrated.
His
He he
physicality.
he
He's
he
too.
he 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 was supposed to be England's next. Like don't take me literally when I
Rio
say this, but
Ferdinand.
like he was supposed to be that John Terry, that left-footed, left-sided centre back, and he's erratic, poor decision making.
Mm.
I constantly wants to make the same passes every single game. I'm not there, and I know that Cole will attempt at least three diagonal passes to the right side every single game.
Every game he does.
Um, he's just inconsistent, and the fact that a player that just came back into the team, as Yudi said, I think mid-January or end of January, is
Yeah.
arguably our best centre back right now. It's shameful. It's shameful
Yeah,
would be
but
an
but
understatement.
I don't think Maresca can handle a bigger plate. Like he's been given a golden opportunity, but the problem is the same thing which Potter faced, which Lampard faced. You have a plethora of players at your availability, right? You have a
Disposal, yeah.
Reece James, you've got a fucking what is his name, Malo Gusto. Like
Like
you've got
Gusto,
quality players on the bench who are unhappy right now. I don't
yeah.
think Chelsea as a team is in sync when it comes to team chemistry and camaraderie. Your team needs to have good quality players in a niche, like core players. Like right now, you don't even know what is your best starting 11, to be honest.
You don't know
And
who's gonna play.
yeah, and when you talk about consistency, I think Cole Palmer had the best game against Liverpool, right? I think you guys had a very mature performance, and I think you should be grateful to the fact that Enzo Fernandez finally, in the last couple of months, he started being the leader that you guys needed him to be. He
What
started stepping up to the
was it a mature performance or a drunken performance?
By Liverpool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's very easy. We see it in I think
It's
CC
just
reference
nothing to play for,
basketball.
bro.
CC reference basketball at the start of the pod, and every time if you face a team again, every time you face a team when their best player isn't playing, or a team when they're less than their best, it's very easy to play down to your opponents. And they didn't do that, which is why I'd call it more of a mature performance as opposed to a great performance. I saw it
yeah.
coming against the team who just won the league. You know that they weren't playing the best 11, all of that, and to put in the performance that you put in, I thought that was mature because they could have easily went thought they were going to win the game before it started
Yeah.
and drop points. They could have done what City
Yeah.
did today and just got 1 point. Hush that too, but they went there, they got the 3 points that they needed to get. And that on its own is good.
Yeah,
Mm.
but I think Jadon Sancho should never start for Chelsea. Like, he's horrible.
What?
Yeah, I
I
don't think he should
disagree with
I
start
that.
don't.
for Chelsea.
I
I
I
don't
don't
disagree
like
agree with
with
him.
that.
that.
I can be honest. I
I
don't agree with
disagree
that.
with that.
No,
He's
I don't
overrated.
I
I
wouldn't.
think
I wouldn't
he's
say that
overrated.
Sancho is. I wouldn't say
Oh,
that. I wouldn't say that he's horrible, right? When he just went to Chelsea, he did pretty good. I watched him in the Conference League on a few occasions,
I
and
think he's
that's where
playing
he
on the
looks
wrong
the best.
side. I think
But
he's playing on the wrong side.
overarchingly, he's just a okay. Like in terms of him talent, everybody knows Jadon Sancho talent. But the application that he applies to, or that he when him try apply it on the pitch, especially in the Premier League, it just don't
Yeah,
work
it
out for
doesn't
No,
So
him.
but
suit
I
here's
him.
think
here's
I'm gonna
here,
tell you. I think the Jadon Sancho's issue is this, bro. Jadon Sancho is a very good player, but you're not a genius player. So, for
Yeah.
example, like you have like the Eden Hazards and those guys. Like
Yeah.
you're
Mm.
very good, but you're not a genius. Therefore, you need to work
if he
harder.
And him
You,
also
but
don't have the mentality to take
that
I
a
is it.
game
think
by
And I
the
think,
scruff of the neck.
and that's why I'm saying that if like a player like
that's what I
Ozil, a
wanted to
player
get
like
to.
Eden
He's a
Hazard,
he's a confidence
those
player.
players don't need to work hard, because they're geniuses. Says
Yeah.
Fabregas, they don't need to work hard because they're geniuses at what they're doing.
They don't run
But
around like
I'm saying you can see that Sancho is a very good player who if he had a better work ethic, like would have been a far better player than he is right now. Because
I
you
Mm.
have to
think
understand that even in today's game is not one which honors players that are geniuses. So you have to work much, much harder. Like if you look, that is the reason why I think
yeah,
Saka, and I don't
it's
want
a
to touch his
running
point.
game. It's a
What
running
is the
game.
Yeah,
point
It's
of
it's
how
a
playing
much
a
running
Jadon
game.
kilometers can
Sancho
you
when he?
cover?
What is the point of playing a Jadon Sancho when he cannot? He's considered a link-up winger. He's not. He can't even take on
So so so
defenders.
so the point I was trying to that's why I wanted to get to. My problem is when Chelsea's left side and right side play two different types of attacking football. On Chelsea's right side, you often have somebody overlapping, whether it be Reece James or Gusto if they're playing, or Cole Palmer because Enzo is playing and he advances so Cole Palmer can go over to the right. When you're playing on that left side for Chelsea, you're playing on that left side and you're on that left side on your own. You're coming
Yeah.
up against two, three players all the time. No, I'm not saying that as an excuse to Sancho because if you're a quality player, you may deal with it. But the vibe I get from Maresca is that how you're supposed to play in this team is how you're supposed to play. So as you said, he's not Hazard, so he can't go and find the pockets of space. Where Hazard was oftentimes not even on the left side. Sometimes he go in the middle. Sometimes he go to the half line. Sometimes you might find him over the right side. You should remember that when he put the ball through, I don't remember whose leg it was, and then put it through another person's leg and then kicked it across the goal in the Carabao Cup
Carabao Cup game.
semi-final. Right. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like he's a good starter for the team. I just think he's playing on the wrong side. I think if he's playing on the side of the attack where there is somebody else and he's not constantly facing up
But
two
yeah, man,
defenders, then he'll benefit more because it's not even like our attacker is making runs in behind, and when he is, he's offside. So what
but
is he meant to
what me
do
have a me
except
have a
pass the ball
question though.
backwards?
Why you say
I
him a
think he
play
needs
on
to
the
miss
wrong
out.
side? Why you say him a play on the wrong
I'm
side
saying
when he was at
for this team, he's playing on the wrong side.
Well,
also
If
let me
we
say
had
this.
a
specifically
overlap,
for
No,
When you
Chelsea?
say the
I
people
think
that
I'll
yeah,
tell you
left,
if we
one
had
focus
thing.
to
a
left and play
if we
decent. So
had
when
a
you say that,
overlapping if we had an overlapping left back, for example, and not an additional midfielder because that's what Cucurella is, then
Mm.
I think that would benefit him. Even in the game on the game midweek, when the kid was playing in
Walsh,
attacking midfield,
Walsh.
Walsh was constantly he was either in the middle or supporting Sancho on the right side. There were a lot of passes either through two defenders or what you call it, reverse passes. I feel like that's more beneficial to the player like him because as Yuri said, he is a link up winger.
Mm.
But there's no point in playing a link up winger when there's nobody to link up with.
And and,
Because
and,
Cole
and let me
Palmer
say this,
spends
right?
a lot of his time over the right side and so does Madueke.
I don't think
Mm.
it's so much on the wrong side. I think it's more the personal because I remember watching a video. I
Yeah,
think it probably published like maybe a year or two. It was on T for YouTube channel where they was trying to find the solution to Sancho's problem. And when he was at Dortmund, he had Hakimi that was overlapping. So he had those 1-2 passes in behind, and it would create ton loads of spaces for Jadon Sancho. Which, when he gets in those spaces, he can put balls inside the box to Erling Haaland, who is coming in. And I think
But
Nicholas Jackson could benefit from that if Jadon Sancho could get the chance to put more
If
balls
he
into
could
the box.
put the balls in
If he drives
exactly,
to the
because now
byline and
he's
then cross.
constantly cutting back and
Yeah.
he's not going to cross the ball. His left foot, hence me saying it's the wrong side. Because if he's on the right side, he can do a lot more getting the ball into the box as opposed to constantly putting back the ball, putting in swingers which the keeper is going to catch or Jackson is going to miss or something like that. It
Yeah.
doesn't bear any fruit, and that's why I have a problem with where he's playing.
And and,
all
and,
right.
and and one point again is, seeing that in Germany you're afforded the space. If you look at Jadon Sancho, oftentimes for Dortmund, Jadon Sancho not only did operate on the right hand side, but he operated through the midfield as well, drifting to the left or to the right as well. Because you have that space in Germany.
But
That's
So
I
that's
don't
you don't
I
exactly
don't
what
have
think you don't have that freedom in Mariska's team. I don't think you do.
Yeah,
Well,
you
but
don't.
that's
As
You don't.
exactly what I
I
was going to say.
Yeah, you
You
don't.
don't necessarily have that space and time in the Premier League like the Bundesliga.
I don't
But
think it has much to do with the league as it has to do with the team. I
I
feel like with
definitely think it has to do with the
the
league.
league, I'm saying the league is a part of it. I just feel like his system is very strict.
It is. Yeah, I was gonna say so. Yeah.
The left winger should be on the byline.
Yeah.
Whoever is playing attacking mid has to know that they're going to be supporting whoever is on the right side. The right back, more times than not, unless it's Gusto, is going to come into the midfield, and then whoever the eight is beside Caicedo is going to occupy the 10th position. And the left back is going to come inside. It doesn't matter who the left back is, he's gonna come inside and play and make a midfield three. So that's the point I'm trying to
Mm.
make. I feel like there's no freedom in the system to allow for a player to do something like that. It's not like with Conte. Conte gave Fabregas the freedom to make whatever passes he wanted to make. Hazard had the freedom with every coach to do
Uh,
whatever he wanted to do,
but
and I just don't feel like that freedom exists with Maresca.
all right, Premier 7, more hero you have to step on this. Chelsea Real
yeah.
Betis. What do you think about this? This
All right.
final.
So um, it is going to be a difficult final. Really and truly to say who will win, like how we can more so predict who will win between Manchester and Tottenham. Two different teams from two different nations, and I think it's given me the thoughts of looking on how England play and how Spain play. For me personally, as what I am hearing right now based on the discussion, Chelsea is yet to really and truly cement their spot in terms of player selection. Who should start here? Who should start there? And that can be the issue for them coming into this final. But as for Real Betis, they know at least more than half in terms of players
I
who
would
they
say
want to play
all of
in
them
a
team.
specific position. Exactly,
Yeah, I'd
all
say
of
all
them.
of them. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it is going to be a difficult final. Based on what we're talking about, if that's the prediction, Chelsea will be in hot waters, and Real Betis will take it away. But we know the game can turn, right? I just want to touch upon the point about Sancho.
Mm-hmm.
He was at Manchester United at one point, and he was having the same problem. I thought he would have been the right winger for us.
Mm-hmm.
It did not work. He was placed on the left hand side. It did not work. He even
Mm-hmm.
played in the middle as well, and it did not
Did not
work.
work.
So, what is the real deal with Sancho? Is it a case that the team should play so Sancho can benefit, or bring him from the bench like in the game against Liverpool? I think Neto should be the better option to start in that game
I think
because
United suck. I think that's an element to it.
I think
I,
that's a
I
poor
No,
excuse though,
Oh,
why,
because
why,
hold on,
why,
somebody,
wait. No, I
somebody,
why
really
that
no. Let
isn't
me
an
tell you.
element?
I
I think
really,
that's a
I
poor
really want.
excuse. Because
I
when you
really.
look on somebody as
It's not
talented
a
as
ex.
Amad Diallo,
No,
look at what he's
oh,
doing, and then when
hold
look
come
at
on.
on,
No,
yeah.
Jadon
but
Sancho.
Yeah, but
he offered they
Respect,
offered
exactly
two
respect.
different
but
things. But
Sancho's a pass first winger, bro.
let me tell you my problem with United. Let me tell you my
Sancho's a
problem with
confusing
United.
player.
Before we get to United, right? It cannot be a United problem when this
Nah,
man go under Marcus Rashford Instagram and say freedom. So Sancho has
U-
freedom
Exactly.
and he's not doing anything. So just as how Rashford has
United,
freedom and perform at Aston Villa in those few games, why isn't Sancho
United.
performing consistently for Chelsea?
Is it about numbers or performance? performances because he has had multiple games where he's performed and he never got a goal or assist.
I
Yeah,
don't,
it's true.
when I
And
watch
He
Sancho
has
him,
is
had
at
when
best.
I
multiple.
watch him,
and
At
what
when I
brings
best,
him
watch
Performance
on
him,
as
there's
well,
average.
see,
nothing
what brings him
special
on,
from
yeah,
him, bro.
Chelsea. That's
It's
fair.
the
So if,
same
if
thing,
that's the
week
case,
in,
why
week
is
out,
it
when
that
the other
if
Manchester
that's the
United.
case, but
Hold
listen,
on,
if that's the case,
he doesn't play for United right now.
but
You
listen,
guys are
if
paying
that's
the
the case
wages,
where
but
he
he
has
doesn't
had
play for you
games,
guys right now.
I think
but
we are derailing from the topic. I just want to say one thing. I think Jadon Sancho at best is a good space manipulator. That's all. But he needs a support system. He needs a striker next to him. But for Pedro Neto, Madueke, they can take on defenders. And in fact, they've created 68% of chances for Chelsea, which weren't converted this season. Both
Mad-
Madueke and Pedro Neto.
Yeah,
And it's because
Madueke
people like
is
Nicholas Jackson,
he's
who
been
are
fantastic.
overrated, who are eve teasing checks on the streets, he prefers playing him than other strikers on the fucking bench. And you have so many other strikers
I mean, which other striker is there for
who've
Chelsea on the
been,
bench?
yeah. There's nobody else to play.
yeah. So I think
But I
Pedro
mean,
Neto and Madueke are clear of Sancho. They're cleared.
Madueke is also very wasteful. But that's a conversation for another
Oh
day.
Exactly.
yeah,
I don't think
he's a baller.
anybody's ready for.
Agreed.
He's very wasteful. But anyways, continue.
Tato,
But
what you da say?
I think
Somebody say
Madueke's
that say
last
something.
performance against Liverpool was the best. I think he completed like 4 or 5 take-ons against Liverpool,
Yeah, when
right?
he played on the
Yeah,
left side, as Els and I said earlier, he played
yeah.
well on that side.
I
What,
Yeah.
don't
what you
like
da say,
players
Tato?
like Madueke, and
I'm not a fan of him.
he's reminding me of as much as how Dorco is good, Martinelli, Dorco, and
Nah,
Madueke. They
I
are
don't think he's in
players
that
who
category,
you
man. He's better than them, man, bro.
no. Listen, what I'm saying
Who?
first. You cannot predict what they're
Dargo?
going to do.
I might talk about Doku, I think.
Oh,
No,
Daku. Oh,
I
Doku.
am
Yeah.
I am not saying he's not a good player, but if you watch
Mm.
how he plays in the games as a winger,
He's wasteful.
Martinelli the same thing. Very wasteful, taking on the wing so
Very
many
And the thing is
times,
that,
wasteful.
giving
bro, man, I think you
yourself
can. I
no
think it's a
chance to
disrespect for
come
put.
back
I
out.
think it's a disrespect for put
What
Doku
is
in the
that?
same bracket as Martinelli and Madueke.
That's true. That's true.
Mm,
I'd agree with
yeah, it's
that.
a
I'd
disrespect.
agree with that. I'd agree with
You
that.
No,
can't
brother.
put that them one in the fake Brazilian category with
Don't think
the
it
youth
is.
on Arsenal, bro. Like,
I'd agree with
seriously,
that. But let
like
me make
Man
the
said
one them
fake
continue
I
Brazilian.
on
was
with them.
specific about what I was saying.
I get what you're saying, though. I do get your point. But yeah, I think he's an absolutely wasteful winger. I think there are so many times where he could make the extra pass or even pass it a bit earlier, and he's constantly trying to shoot with his weak foot, or he takes a shot in front of five defenders that has no chance of going
I could
Dorku
see
is the
through.
that. Yeah.
same thing.
I
Same
just
thing
think
with
he's
Dorku as
wasteful.
well.
But
In that
yeah,
case,
They need
very
to mature
Charlie,
their
you
wasteful.
can
game.
go
They need
through.
to mature their game, man. That's what they need to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
but
Both of them.
yeah, Tato, what you da say now?
Me, I don't have nothing for them. They also told me I don't have nothing for them.
All right.
yeah,
Els, what you
let
have
me
to
say this.
say?
Let me say this. In terms of the final itself, we all know that English teams don't have a good record against the Spanish teams. So going
Yeah.
into the final, Real Betis obviously have that edge over Chelsea. However, as Jeff said, Chelsea they don't participate in these competitions. They actually win these competitions to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Won the Super Cup recently, Champions League, Europa League, demolishing Arsenal. So they have a good track record in Europe. So
Mhm.
they also have that
Yeah,
going
I
good
just
for them
don't
as well.
want another FA Cup final performance. I just want them to take the chances when they get them
I think you'll beat them.
and
Well,
Yeah,
not
before,
lose
me
them.
before we close down
personally,
on
I
Chelsea, I
think
just want
it's
to say
I think
one
against
Chelsea
thing.
will
I
win.
think
youths.
Chelsea is facing a team of discards, of people who got rejected from English Premier League teams. Lo Celso, Cardoso, Isoko played in Real Madrid. Marc Bartra played in Barcelona.
Abde from Barcelona.
Yeah,
Zuli, Moroccan.
yeah. So
Just a
Yeah,
these
thing.
players are, and I'll tell you one thing. I've seen Real Betis play in the La Liga, bro. Isoko is literally running the engine. He's the engine for the
mm,
team, right? He's given that free role to like roam around, do whatever he wants to.
Mhm.
I think if Chelsea lose to them, to be honest, it's going to be embarrassing. I think you should beat Betis.
Well, let me
me,
say this. My
I
last
don't
point on
think he'll
this,
be
right?
embarrassing.
Chelsea, if Chelsea lose, there's going to be as much banter as what Arsenal is getting. Because listen, you guys have the clear Lake group behind you, $1 billion spent, over $1 billion, and I remember when you guys bring in Koulibaly and sell these players after one season. So to me, you guys have to win this trophy. If not, then you're really poorly controlled Chelsea, to be honest.
Yeah, true.
yeah.
I mean,
Listen,
at the end of the day, at least we didn't come 16th or 15th. But anyways,
Hold on. Just a quick thing. Just a quick thing. Just a quick thing. Not about a banter though. My mind is telling me a thing like just as though Barcelona lost to Inter Milan. look at it from a youth versus an experienced player perspective with a mixture of youths and seniors. I think that could be one of the issues for Chelsea in this final
Mm.
compared to a Real Betis.
Fair,
Chelsea's
fair
filled
enough.
Yeah,
with youths.
yeah, I do agree. They
So,
have players
I
who
mean,
have.
that can be a downfall. Yeah,
My
Fair.
that is going to be the issue to me.
I think
my
you guys give.
problem
I think you guys giving Real Betis too much respect, to be honest.
my
I
problem
agree.
with that
Yeah,
final,
I
I
think
feel
so
like
too.
I watched Betis.
Sixth place in La Liga, who have that on both occasions that they played the two top teams in the league. They beat one of them, and they competed well. Like Barca, I think because of how good Barca has been, people have been not. They haven't been giving the teams that they play enough credit. They were losing against Valladolid. What's his face got injured. They subbed on Lamine, then subbed on
Yeah,
Rafinha at halftime, and
yeah,
went and won the game. They
true.
literally snapped their fingers and won the football game. And they did it against Celta Vigo as well. Don't watch 3-1 tattoo, come back and win the game 4-3. On multiple occasions, Barcelona have made quality teams look substandard. And I feel like Real Betis sixth in the league right now, right behind what Villarreal, Bilbao, Atletico Madrid, Real Madrid, and Barcelona are. I don't think we can be giving them too much credit. They've been playing good football, and I think Cardoza missed some time. Isco missed a couple of games through suspension, and ever since Anthony started playing good football, they've been a relatively quality football team outside, right, when they've had their full level. So I don't think it's a case where we're giving them too much credit, because the argument could be made that Chelsea no longer has the continuity that they had at the start of the season. They don't know the 11, which we've spent the last 20 minutes talking about. So I feel like it's not as, the gap isn't as wide as we'd like to make it seem.
Yeah, I think since Anthony has been there, they only lost like 2 games in the league and then play like 13. So again, honestly, I don't for the team that the Real Betis is and how them currently are performing right now, I think them are gonna pull off a shocker and them are gonna win. But Tato, where does it?
no, like I have a problem with that though. When the keep on us, I don't feel like Real Betis have the edge when on a constantly I say
No, not the edge.
Chelsea don't know them team. I feel like that is kind of a strategy. Knowing you can predict what somebody will come with. So upon the day them can turn that, like the coach can probably try to go over like 3 different things. We tell him players them say they might come with this, while Maresca can just look at him play, look on his Chelsea team and say, look here, we know this is going to be their game, and whatever this can be this this is going to be our style of playing. And what must feel like the Chelsea that have the upper and right there. But for me see that as a
I
good
think there's a difference. There's a difference when you have a strong team and you can mix and change it or whatever the case is, compared to when you have a team of a lot of players and then you just don't know the best players. You know?
But for me, all right, anyway, well, okay.
It's like Man City. When Man City they have a lot of options, it's like I try to say when Man City had a lot of options,
They don't
right?
have any options now. Now they don't.
When they had a lot, like the
I
Mars
think
and those guys, the
overall,
Raheem Sterling, it's like you have quality for quality, like incoming and outgoing or whatever
Yeah, I
the case
think I
is.
get
But
what you're
Chelsea,
saying. That's not the
they have a
case
lot
with
of players,
Chelsea.
and it's like it's not
That's
the
not the case
same.
with Chelsea.
Yeah, it's not
But
the
there's a
same. It's like they
difference.
still struggle to kind of know the best because
Almost
nobody.
every
Sean, but there's a
subset.
difference. The beauty that Pep brought, everyone played similar to each other. There was no drop in quality. Like for Chelsea, it's a different
That's
thing.
what I was going to say. For Chelsea,
Yeah.
every substitute, more or less, is a drop in
It's
quality.
a drop off. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Abal, don't you think with like cause based on the game, whether or not
What
say
do I rather?
because Liverpool did come in drunk from a game, whatever.
I never
But
said that.
with the addition of Lavia now and the what we know him come with, do that it did not get a bit more confident ago in that reality in that game, in that final.
Yeah, I am. However, availability is completely different. If I knew who was starting, or better yet, if I was picking the starting 11, then I would be confident. I don't know what I will get up and see on that start. I don't know. I don't try to think about it. I don't know who's gonna be in the goal. I don't know who's gonna be the right back. I don't know my centre back pairing. I know who my left back is. Depending on who's playing right back will determine who one or two of the midfield going to be. And then I don't know I'm not 100% sure who's gonna play on the left side for my wing. And then I
George might
know
play.
my
George might
striker
play,
is
mate. Real talk.
terrible.
For
Yeah.
me
My
as
striker is terrible.
alright, for me as a neutral, the only
Sanchez will
thing
be in goal.
the only thing what bother me,
That'd be
for me
mad.
as a neutral, the only thing
Yeah,
what
you got
I
that
can't
right.
pick who are gonna be the right back. Like for everything else, we
No,
feel like so probably the team pick itself because I think Maresca know what is best team.
I
But
don't.
as
I
we
don't
say,
think so. Because Sancho has, barring Nkunku, who I don't even want to talk
all right.
about, he has easily been the best Chelsea player in the conference league since the start of the competition.
Let's
So
put it this way.
I can't like outright say that he's definitely not going to start because
Let's
he's
put it
been
this way.
their
The
best
players who
player
play the
in the
most
You know,
appearances
competition.
this season,
it
the
doesn't.
players who make the most
Yeah.
appearances this season, just assume that they pit themselves in the final.
For
Basically.
me, I feel like there are at least 6 players where it's a sure start. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that is
yeah,
enough.
yeah. I
Uh,
agree. I agree.
But it doesn't matter. You know why? I'll tell you why. Maresca's second half has been atrocious. His system got exposed in so many games. They have not been able to create many chances, and it's literally contrasting to what you did in the first half of the season, right? And Chelsea fans, don't get me wrong, yeah. On Twitter, I've been reading this a lot from Chelsea fans. Yeah, a lot of chitter chatter about Maresca not being the right manager because that system isn't working with the players. I don't know. What do you feel about that?
all right. So I guess who right us have a Betis upset? Me have a Betis upset. Anybody have a Betis upset?
No.
All
I
right,
don't have a bit
just me.
upset,
Yeah,
but
I
I
think
would love to see
Betis
them
Elliot,
might
win.
win this.
Elliot, you have a Betis upset, Elliot?
Just me
No,
and
no,
Yodi.
no, 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 no. I think
Okay.
Chelsea win this one, man. I think they'll win this
Oh
Okay.
one.
yeah,
Want to be
Just me
100%.
and Yodi for the Betis
yeah,
upset.
yeah. I think
So
Betis is gonna get it.
Calamity just want to be a strong
Me
rival,
feel
and
like
that's
Chelsea
okay.
gonna win, but more than
nah,
lose.
but
I true, I'm gonna lose to Tottenham. So
Yeah,
you
man,
know.
lose. We know I'm gonna lose to Tottenham.
We're not
We
gonna
know
lose to
deep down
Tottenham.
the
We're
soul I'm
not
gonna
losing
lose
to
to
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
You never
uh,
see that. We're
I
not
will
losing to them,
accept
man.
that. I will accept that, but
Hey,
We're not
it
losing
don't
to
really
them.
matter. We just want,
everybody,
uh,
like when you want to laugh off away, we want to laugh off all too.
Oh,
you
well,
exactly.
know,
me are going to FA Cup final, So if I
Hey,
want to laugh
No
off a
business
big
boy
player, it's
here,
fine.
FA Cup final.
how
Anyway,
inconspicuous it is for Tottenham. Say anytime they reach a Europe final, it's an English team them have to face.
Yes,
yeah,
that
because them play Liverpool now 19.
oh yeah,
I
yeah,
me
Yeah.
don't want
And I
Tottenham
the
think
win
the
since
first
boringest
European trophy,
final.
Ivory
the
Smith.
Sorry,
first
Yodi,
European trophy where
the
Spurs win was
boringest
against an
final
English
never
team
won.
as well.
If Tottenham
Yeah,
play
say,
Ivory Smith, that
Yeah, that's why we can't get that trophy there,
no,
honestly.
Well,
because it's
listen, my main concern is not Tottenham so much in that game. It's more Onana, isn't it? So yeah.
fair
Don't
enough.
even
No,
get
fair
me
enough though.
started.
Fair
We
enough
never
though.
talk about that youth there. I'm gonna want to
oh
talk
no,
about
no,
it.
worse than no, Sanchez, you know.
Like,
Fair
Jav,
enough.
you have a big keeper
Bro,
issue.
you
I
see when the
think man
man
you have a
dive with him
strength.
2 there, yeah?
Or if Garnacho starts that
Yo,
game, if Garnacho
this
starts that
nigga
game,
is
oh shit.
crazy, bro.
I
Onana
think
is
today's
crazy.
topic of discussion should have been Onana versus Sanchez.
So who's better? Who's better and
Yeah,
who's
who's
Sanchez
worse?
is
better?
better, man.
Who
Sanchez
is
is
Yeah.
better.
worse?
But
Who's
we're
worse?
gonna move it along to
Onana.
the big
Onana.
question. So with Liverpool winning their 20th title, first division title, now tying that record with Manchester United. We're gonna start off with Yodi being the lone Liverpool fan. Is Liverpool now considered the biggest team in England?
Hold on, Yodi, before you start, when I think, when I know if you said it's junior record, but I want to say again, congrats on winning the Premier League title.
Thank you. I think you're one of the
Go on.
few brothers who's actually wished me.
Yeah, me
As
not
if
But
tell
he
you
yeah,
that.
played in the as if
Me
he
not tell
played.
you that.
yeah. But man, I think it's quite clear at this
Well,
point
I
in
did.
time. It's long in coming. Yeah, we've seen this coming that Liverpool are going to surpass the trophy count in
They have
totality, and they've done
surpassed the
it.
trophy count. There are
Yeah,
six.
I think
Liverpool is
we are.
now 69, Manchester United 67.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one of the reasons why Man United are ahead of Liverpool when it comes to spectatorship, right? Commercial value. I'll tell you because most of the most of the boys, right? It's only the men when they were born young. Yeah, they looked up to their brothers. Yeah, they were all glory hunters because Man United that time, yeah, were winning Premier League titles. That's a fact. That's a fact, right? So most. I'm talking about my own country, okay? Indians, yeah. So most of the Indians, my friends, most of them are United fans. Why? Because they were winning trophies that time, bro. Right? And that's the reason why United have the biggest fan base in the entire world. Yeah. And I have nothing to be ashamed of. I think United deserve it. I think they're a big club, but let's be honest about this, bro. You're 15th, we are first. And that's how it's
Oh
gonna be
my
always.
days.
That's how it's gonna be always, yeah.
All
That's how.
right. So obviously I got to Liverpool. Else may I start off with you first. What you think? Who is the biggest club in England?
Listen, man, it's not a debate here, man. Okay, like Man United is the biggest club, man. We have the biggest. Like everybody comes to watch our games, no matter how bad we are. Everyone's gonna be tuned into a Man United game. You know what I'm saying? Like we can be finished, we can be relegated, and still we'll have more viewers than all of your clubs combined, and we all know this. So there's nothing more to say. I don't need to say much more than that. Like that. I can use that
More
one
for
point.
talk.
Oh
I can use
God.
that one point as my basis for my whole entire argument.
All right, so
Uh,
You know
Calamity,
what?
like a
You're
favor
right.
ask
Most of
a
the people,
hold
personal.
on.
everyone comes to watch Man United, but your fans are also the quickest to leave the stadium when you're losing. That's the
Hold
like.
on.
That's the
So that's
I
support that
Arsenal
you
fans.
have.
That's the Arsenal fans,
you
man. Don't
did
get that to us, man.
Elliot a mistake fans for Rat. Cause remember say Rat they in the stadium to watch him match them. So them account them the two, you know. Anyways,
Yeah.
Listen, man, we're getting
really
a new
and truly
stadium soon, man.
Calamity.
Don't worry about that, man. Don't worry about that. We
Calamity,
have
me
we got a
hear you
plan.
ask a question. I'm afraid my sister afraid for ask the opposition, probably like me or probably like
No,
you.
no, no, no. Hold on. Me
Bro,
ask
bro.
you're the first. You're the Liverpool
That
fan.
too.
More get off the United fan them, and then we get to
Already
me.
you ready for them?
That
I'm gonna
too.
say
I'll tell
United.
you, these guys, they started
No,
calling Rasmus Højlund the best striker in the league because he scored
Listen, we don't care about Jack Swagger, man. Like
because
that
he
guy
scored in
can
the
keep
Europa
fighting for the
League. Yeah.
WWE Championship, man. All
All
right,
They're
right.
he can stay
celebrating
over
Mason
there,
Mount.
man.
Mason Mount is silencing people after scoring a goal. The biggest club, bro. The
so
biggest
so
club.
so
Best number
when
7 ever.
here what? Premier 7. What you have to say?
Yeah, more I the Man U fans. Come I get alone one time, you know. One and two,
Aye.
one time, all alone.
Money
Yeah, man. The
list.
thing is, you know, I am different from other people. I thought the game based on not only what I see, but more than that. Our club is living off Alex Ferguson's history, honestly speaking. And it is so shameful to even say right now that my club is the biggest club in England because for me,
Yeah.
we are not. No,
Bro,
for me
hold on.
personally, we are
Shameful is
not.
Get
crazy,
Exactly.
this
though.
man off,
Shameful is
bro.
crazy.
Get
I
this
can't
man
No,
off.
no,
lie.
You
no,
say
no,
that
no, no.
you
Premier
can't touch
7
United.
talk.
First.
No,
Shameful is
no.
Look
very
what it.
Premier
Bro,
Let me
7
let me
Hold on.
talk. Let me talk.
Yes, make him talk.
Let me talk.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you know, I am talking
Let me
not
talk.
to just
Let
say
me
I
talk.
am a Manchester United fan. Me I talk based on reality, brother.
Yes.
Look at this season that we're playing football, man. So many embarrassment. Losing against Liverpool, big hits, losing competitions all over. We're living off the name of Alex Ferguson. We need to start putting our foot down and start to dominate again. Remember then again, if it is
Correct.
for trophies, Liverpool, Liverpool is run better than Manchester, and let's be real. The thing is, we're living based on hype. And for me personally, whether or not Mason scored 1 goal or 2 goal, I am a fan. I will celebrate. I was happy when Maguire scored as well because my team won a game. But we're paper in the cracks. We're paper in the cracks. We're on 67 trophies. If we're going to talk about trophies, we're on 67 trophies. Liverpool is on 69. Before I finish, looking on how teams are being prestigious, Liverpool across other competitions have done better. We dominate in, let's say, maybe Community Shield and the Premier League. Just as though we don't care about certain cups, then we need to start dominating the Champions League and other competition that we may see as better trophies. So for me personally, I love my club. I will never switch. But right now, Liverpool is a bigger club. And flashing back to Klopp days as well. Now, remember, there are seasons that Klopp has to play with players without having a proper transfer window, and Liverpool still play proper football. You saw the system. They're playing in Champions League. They're doing everything that they can. They're playing from a not only passion sense, but they're playing football. They're playing football. We're not playing anything.
Yeah.
But we still
Premier
want to Europa
Premier
League
Premier,
still.
Premier,
But
I
the
want
thing
to
is,
Premier
comment. I want to.
I
I want
Seven.
to
remember.
comment
I
one
remember
point.
a
Yeah.
Hold
line.
on.
Premier,
Premier
I
7.
really, I
Premier
really
7.
respect the fact that you've made these points. Just one more point before Calamity gets in. Um, the biggest club, Man United, is the biggest club in England. Yeah, your owners don't even know how to raise funds. Gary Neville in that interview, yeah, Gary Neville in that interview
Bro, I
schooled
think
Sir Jim Ratcliffe and by telling him you're not supposed to stop the pensioners' funds for the players, £35,000 or something like that. That's it. He stopped it. The biggest club, they can't afford to pay pension to
no,
their
I
ex
think I
players.
It
Yeah,
think
was the
I think I
Glazers.
think I
Hold
think
on.
Glazers.
that's
The
where
Glazers
like I
did that.
think that's where
I am
you're
only talking from
overstepping.
playing
I
football.
think there's a
I'm not
boundary
talking
where
about
you
the
is overstepping
finances. So
now. You can't tell a billionaire how to raise funds or whatever the case is. The fact of the matter is, this man said fit to cut the pension of these people, and so be it. If Gary never wants to raise money for them, then he goes out there and raise money for them. It's simple as that.
Premier,
In your system,
Premier,
the mathematics, and they feel as if they need to take away this type of
I
money.
mean,
Simple as that.
Tatu,
hold on,
See,
hold
have
on.
it,
I
Premier
think
they
that
Seven,
the,
can't
Premier
organize a
Seven.
charity match for 90 minutes. They can't organize a charity match for one and a
I,
half
I
hours.
think
But
These are the
I
excuses
think
that they have to give.
let me say this,
I
right?
think the
In
end of the
terms of
day, I was just going to say, like, at the end of the day, I think the simple answer to the question is United is the what do we say, the biggest team
Biggest.
in. I think United is the biggest team in England commercially, and I don't think there is any way in. I don't know if in our lifetime we will see a bigger team commercially. However,
True.
Agree.
if we're going to take
United,
the
you're right.
commercial, if we're
United
going
is
to
like
take the
Korean pop.
commercial side, if we're taking the
Yeah,
commercial side out of it, and we're talking about the biggest team in England, it's hard to debate against the team who's not only leading in total trophies right now, but again, as Premier Seven said, living off of Sir Alex hype. That's every single coach that comes to the team now, every single player that comes to the team now, what do we reference? Sir Alex
Sir
Ferguson,
Alex, I feel up
or
to Sir Alex.
or Tevez, or Christie,
But for me, that
I
that
think I
that
think
it's
I
that
a
think I
bunch
speaks
think
of
to hold on.
it's
That
a
speaks to the greatness of the club, though.
but
Because
that is
what
no, that is no,
Brother, we are
that is
garbage,
bro.
brother.
What
that is a
greatness are you
that
talking about? You
that
failed
is
Falcao. You failed De Maria. You failed
no,
that
hold on,
Pogba.
hold on,
is
hold
You
on. Like,
failed the
listen, listen,
greatest
listen,
legends
listen.
of the
Let me
game,
let me say
bro.
but
this, right? Let me
that
say this,
falls
right?
under commercial value
Hold
though.
on.
Yo,
Let
they
me
are
say this,
bad
right?
now,
This
you
thing
know.
about this thing about failing players is absolute nonsense. We never failed Falco. We never failed Dimar. We never
You did.
failed these
You
players,
did.
right? But let me tell you this, right? The whichever say about how players come and reference passwords, that's just out of respect for the club. When players go
No,
to
no,
Real
no, no, no,
Madrid
no.
and
That's not
Barcelona,
what I'm. Whoa. That's not the point I was trying to make. I'm saying what, what fans and pundit what's always said about United, whether it be media or barbershop talk, it's always referencing. It's always a blast in the past because there's nothing recent or good to
Yeah.
reference.
but let me say this, right? In terms of
Commercially, the team it can't get bigger than Man United because for almost every Barca fan there's a United fan. So you also have to factor that into, like you have people who, as you did mention, you have people who grow up and started supporting a team just because their older brother did or their parents did. I
yeah, but
don't
that's
think you
that's
can
every
beat
fan base,
United
wh-
commercial.
whether or not you're winning or losing, like that's every fan base. So you think a
But
Spurs fan become a
No
Spurs
man,
fan?
but I think all right. So in terms of the biggest club, let me put it like this: y'all touched on the topics because I think Jeff would touch on the commercial side. If you look at social media revenue, even
no, they're
though
just
Manchester United have them, but the thing where we are touched, cause community shield and them thing there, I don't think you factor that in when you're counting the biggest club. You don't factor them thing again because Arsenal 30% Arsenal trophy cabinet is community
is
shield.
Community Shield. That's
So
true.
we're not count community shield. What I would say is this: Liverpool's European dominance makes them the biggest club. So even if you want to go
I
around,
agree.
like I think what Manchester United did, especially what Sir Alex Ferguson did, is when he came and they won the treble and then they won the Champions League again, and then they piled on the Premier League trophies. So when they piled on the Premier League trophies, they went to what? Like they're 20 now. Liverpool is 20. I think Manchester United is what? 19 domestic cup between the Carling Cup and the FA Cup. Liverpool is 18. But when it comes down to Europe, Liverpool is at 10,
Yeah,
Manchester
that's where
United
they
is at
separate
6.
them. So
So I think if we're going to say, because everybody on here can agree that the Champions League is the biggest club competition, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point in time, in order to qualify for the Champions League, you would have to win the league. So opposed to when it was European Cup, as opposed to now where you can be in fourth place and qualify. Liverpool has won the most Champions League / European Cup as an English team. So by virtue of them winning the most Champions League and European Cup, that alone puts them in the position where if you're looking at on the field perform, if you're looking at the title and the caliber title that they won, it's going to give them the edge.
and I
But
think Calamity know the truth too.
Hold
Honestly,
on,
like I
hold
don't
on,
even
hold
want to
on.
cut your CC, but I think he
Don't
know
come
the
go on
truth.
like say. Don't come go on
no,
like
but
say. You want
I
to put
was saying
words in the
no.
man mouth.
That's what I was saying. Even when Man City was winning the bunch of trophies and everything, Like
They were
Man City
never
not having the Champions League was an indictment on them. And it
exactly.
is even an indictment on Arsenal right now. Because I don't think Arsenal, if you look at it, we are edging Arsenal in the Champions League. Arsenal has 30 major trophies. We have Chelsea has, I think, 26, something around there. But when you look in the cabinet, we have Champions League, we have Europa League, we have those titles.
Example.
Arsenal
Good
have,
example.
and we have beat Arsenal at the Europa League final. They, you
But
get me? They don't
but
have
but
those
but
things. So
but
I think that is where
I don't think realistically people are saying that Chelsea, other than Chelsea fans, are saying that Chelsea is a bigger club than Arsenal, to be honest. But what I would say is, I'm kind of sorry to make Premier Server talk, you know, 'cause I don't know what that team come say. But realistically, what me would have said is, I think Liverpool are more successful, and success is based on trophies. So success goes back and forth. Currently,
Biggest
Liverpool
is
are leading.
commercial.
Huh?
And biggest have to take biggest takes everything
Biggest
into
takes everything into
consideration.
consideration.
Commercial, and so then that's what I'm gonna say. The simple answer is what it is. United are the biggest club.
yeah. I mean, them have the
Commercial.
That's
biggest
what I.
stadium.
No,
That's what I'm
I
United have
don't
the
think
saying.
you
biggest
can
stadium.
disrespect United
Who
in the
is that
sense that it's
disrespect?
just like the biggest club commercially. That's
No, but
nonsense.
No,
Whenever
they're
that's
people
they're the
think
big
about
they're the
United, listen,
biggest.
listen.
They're the
No, no, no,
biggest
no.
club
Whenever
commercially,
people
and
think about
the
United,
second
people don't.
best big and the
Listen.
second biggest successful club in the
No, but
country.
listen, don't
What's
tell me about this
disrespectful
commercial
about that?
thing. When people think about United, commercial is not the first thing that comes to mind. It's success that comes to mind. The 13
Okay,
Premier League
past
titles,
success, but
multiple Europa Champions League, right?
hold
What
on.
we did
Do
against
we
Munich, what
do
we did
we
against Chelsea.
do
So
we
nobody,
understand what commercial value is? Let me just ask that.
bro, nobody thinks about United firstly in the commercial sense. They think
What
about
let
United in the sense that it was
what
successful. They had the likes of
when
Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney.
was
Those are not
very
commercial
key,
things.
Why did Ronaldo
very
come back?
key.
Because you have good commercial value.
Bro, are you dumb, bro? Like,
2009. That's
Why
my
did he
what?
come
point.
back? Why
That's
did he come back? You
people.
have good
People don't
you're a
understand
commercial
what
club.
commercial value
Okay,
is.
why was he?
People don't
Why was he
understand
going
what
to City?
commercial
Will
Hold
value
on, hold on,
is.
hold on, hold on.
Steven
Why
Gerrard
was he?
come back
No,
to
listen,
Liverpool from LA
Let
Galaxy?
me ask you
No,
this
he wouldn't.
question. Let me ask you this
Steven
question. What
Gerrard would never
commercial value?
re-sign with Liverpool.
Listen,
Come on, man.
What commercial value does City have? Answer that. Because
You
the man
you know
was going
what?
to City first.
I'll
Sir
tell you.
Alex Ferguson
Your
called the man up
owners are just
and said,
like
"Come
you.
back
I'll
to
tell you
What
why.
United."
what does that have to do with the point that I was trying to make
Bro,
though?
Yeah.
name me the
No man, the
commercial value
commercial,
that
but
City
listen,
has.
the commercial value
You
that
people
Manchester
want to
United.
sell shirts,
Let me
not
go
not
say,
knowledge. You want to sell
but you
shirts,
the
not knowledge. Yeah. Remember that.
the commercial value that Manchester United has was accrued through the
Through the
success
success.
that
Exactly.
Manchester United have.
True.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
thing
No,
about it is,
no. Let me
Exactly.
tell you, the
I'm gonna
commercial
find, I'm
value
gonna come
to
on a
me,
point,
the
yeah.
commercial
Not
value of
only that
the
though.
real Manchester United came down to one man himself, and it was Ed Woodward. Yes, United had success before Woodward, but when the Glazers took over and Ed Woodward
No,
came into
that's
the
why.
picture,
No, I'm
he
saying
brought
to you,
this,
what I
he
know.
brought the commercial
But
value
no,
and that
I'm
type of
going
money
to
to
tell you
United.
what the commercial value is.
Me not agree with
What?
that. Me
That
not
is
agree with
No,
that.
what I know.
I
No,
No,
don't I
man.
hold
don't
on,
agree with
hold
that
on,
point.
hold on,
I
hold
don't
on,
agree with
hold
that
All right,
on.
point.
nothing.
Hold on. Commercial value simply stems from the product, service, and assets.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
commercial value.
Yeah.
To put it very simple for anybody who don't understand, that's commercial value. So, product is what's on the field, the players on the field, the shirt sales, all them something there. The service also partly includes all of that stuff. And then the asset itself, that includes the players that the club owns, that includes the Old Trafford, that includes Carrington and all of those things. There is no way you can try and tell me that Manchester United is not by far the
Also,
biggest
also,
commercial club.
yeah,
Nobody's.
also,
At
I'm
the
not
end of the
saying that.
day,
I'm
No, I
at the,
don't
saying
think
it
nobody.
anybody's
doesn't, it
disputing
doesn't,
that.
it
I'm
doesn't, it
And you know
doesn't
what?
nobody
matter.
Adding
thinks
on
It
to
about
it.
what,
doesn't,
what
Wait,
I'm
wait,
saying
it
is
doesn't
nobody
matter
thinks
if
about
it's
wait.
the
United.
first.
Kishan, wait.
It
Let
doesn't
me add
matter.
No, hold
on
on.
to
Like,
It
Jay's
don't
point.
matter. It don't matter if it's the first thing I think about when I think about them, because at the end of the day, when I think about them, if I'm thinking about United being successful or or
but
or great, I'm thinking about them being successful or great 15 years ago or 13 years ago, not
But
right now.
Kishan, to that point though, Kishan, like I don't think anybody looks at any football clubs and think commercial right
Exactly,
away.
Yeah.
exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
But they're
yeah,
the
that's
It's
the
biggest
Only
so
thing. That's the
commercial
United.
thing. I
club.
agree with yeah.
yeah,
but
But
so
they're
let
the
me say this.
biggest
Let
And
me ask you
commercial
this
I'll tell
question,
club.
you.
right? In
I'll
terms
give
of
you
the
a very
whole
simple
Liverpool,
example.
in
I'll
terms of
give
the
you a
whole
very simple
Liverpool aspect,
example. Wait,
right?
Kishan, wait. United are like K-pop. Liverpool is like dark metal, right? Yeah. You
Bro,
are
let me
Korean
just say
pop.
this.
Yeah.
In terms
People
of the
love
Liverpool
K-pop.
aspect, in
You
terms of being
guys
the
need to wear a
biggest,
pink tutu. Wear a pink
listen,
tutu.
listen,
Flash your titties. Yeah.
What?
In the
What?
listen.
stadium. That's all.
In terms of
That's all
being
you're
the
good for,
biggest
bro.
club.
Say what?
Let me say this. In terms of being the biggest club, listen, you guys have two more trophies than us. Like, so what? Two is not much of a difference to me. At the end of the day, the numbers don't lie. We have a huge fan base locally and globally. People talk about tourism or whatever the case is. The fact that your club can attract.
Commercial.
Listen. The fact that your club can
Commercial.
attract. No, fans.
Let him
The
talk.
fact
Let
that
him
your
talk,
club.
please.
The
Fan
fact that
base
your
fuck.
club the fact that your club can attract people to spend how much money to travel
I'm
from
players.
New
I'm
Zealand,
players.
Australia to come to your stadium to watch their dream team or their club, that is something within itself. In terms of Liverpool, you guys got rejected by Jude Bellingham,
And Chouameni and
Mendy.
Enzo and
When you talk about the
Caicedo
Liverpool
and
pool, despite the
We
success
got
that you guys
rejected
have,
by
Hold on,
there's
but
no
no,
Caicedo
no.
pool
What
for
I think,
Liverpool.
and
There's
Lavia.
no pool for
Guess
Caicedo.
who
Liverpool.
gave us
what
the
I
God of
think, I
Honor?
think, I think we're
Lavia,
not
you
Guess
looking.
who gave us the God of Honor? And
Chouameni.
you
No,
will
but
take it next.
I think
Hold
no,
on,
but
hold
I
on.
think but I think the biggest part of it is this, right? The biggest part of it is that when the Premier League came and they chopped it down to 20 teams, when the Premier League money came in, the club that benefited the most was Manchester United.
Was
Manchester
Yeah.
United
United.
was is the most successful English club over the last 30 years. So because of that and because of all of that money and modern football, Manchester United had their name before, But the thing about it is they were elevated to that stratosphere far away from Liverpool because let's be honest, Liverpool was like a run of the mill club outside the Champions League, run of the mill for the last 30 years, never really doing anything, not really participate. You get what I'm saying? So they weren't able to capitalize on the
Fact.
success of the Premier League model whilst Manchester United with Alex Ferguson dominated the Premier League. And I think even when Chelsea came and reaped some of that success, City came, reaped some of that success. Liverpool is basically now trying to reap some of the success in the tail end of what was started since 1992. And I
Yes.
think that is why people would ascribe the commercial thing to it. But it's more so the success that Manchester United, that the dominance, let's put it, be honest, be frank, the domination of the Premier League gave Manchester United just basically triple the club's value, and especially into the point where we're talking about them being the commercially
Of
biggest club
course.
Yes.
right now.
Because
Yeah.
exactly. What I'm trying to say, is at the end of the day, when we talk about commercial value, when we talk about profit and things of that nature, that boils down to financial gain. And when we start talking financial gain, we start talking everything. We start talking ticket sales, we start talking jersey sales, we're talking fan base, whatever the fan base purchases, we're talking about people traveling from all over the place. Those stuff fall under commercial. It don't matter if it hurt nobody's feelings. It fall under
Yeah.
commercial aspect. At the end
Mm.
of the day, I'm not saying I'm just like oh I've had conversations with these two guys, Tattoo and Calamity, and I've said I think greatness is separate and apart from being the best. And
Yeah.
I just feel like this is one of them situations. The
And that's what
biggest
I'm
team in
saying.
England
The
And
is
besides,
biggest team
different than
United
the
won all
most
those
successful
trophies.
team in
successful.
England.
Exactly.
No, I
And
Yeah.
that's
United
what
think
I
was
say.
no,
successful
but I think
only when in the
what
Farmers League. Yeah. There was no competition that time. It was the Farmers League lads
Listen,
back in the day.
the funny thing is,
Yeah.
let me
It
tell
was
What
you
the
no,
you
the
but I
funny
Farmers
saying?
League.
thing.
think
Let me tell you
What
the
you
funny
saying,
thing.
CC? I want to hear
Only
what CC
14.
it's
Only
saying.
not
14
Talk
were
about the
competing in
biggest
that
team in
cup.
England, right? The
16
funny
teams
thing,
were
listen,
involved in.
Hold on, hold on.
but chatting,
you
man.
know the funny thing
Hold
Let
is,
on.
CC
they
Hear me.
talk,
talk
because
about.
CC there
Hold
go
on.
say something,
Hold on. Hold on.
Watch out. They talk
Ish.
about the biggest team in England. You know what's so funny about this biggest team in England? I'm going to point out two teams. When Man City won the treble, nobody talks about that. Nobody cares.
Yeah,
Liverpool won the league title this season, and it feels like nothing, bro. Nobody cares. I
no one
guarantee you,
cares.
when Chelsea did win the league title a couple years ago, bro,
That's
and
bullshit.
every season they win it, that was a big thing, bro. Chelsea,
You're
Chelsea
so
league titles have this
you're a
like
hypocrite. He
weight
said the
about them.
same.
I,
No, no, no,
He
no, no,
said
no,
the
no, no.
opposite thing in the
Bro,
last
if
podcast.
United had
You're a
won any
hypocrite.
modern day treble or won the Premier League right
Just
now,
wait till
we're
we
gonna
win the
talk about
Europa
like
League
big
and see
stuff
what
here.
go on. Just wait till we win the Europa League and see what
because
go
Oh
I
on.
think
god.
Well,
Manchester
everyone will know
United
about
have a
that.
big
Biggest club
fan
again,
base in
I come
England.
back.
But let me tell you what I think though. I think Manchester United is big, both in the conversation of biggest club and in the conversation as the biggest, the most, as I said, the commercial
Prestigious
thing.
club.
Because you can be commercially successful, commercial wise, but you're not as successful. For example, let us give this example. And I just juxtaposing against a different league, the NFL. The Dallas Cowboys, commercial wise, no other team in the NFL comes close to the Dallas Cowboys. But the Dallas Cowboys isn't the most successful team. So I think on this side of the fence, Manchester United is both in the conversation as one of the most. They are in the top two when it comes
And
on
that's what I
commercial
said. That's
value,
what I said.
when they come
They're
on
the
to
biggest
success.
commercial team and the second most successful team, and nothing wrong with that.
So yeah,
They're
so
not
I
the
think
second most successful team. So yeah.
Yeah.
When,
Tato.
when you think about diminishing returns or whatever the cases are, like waiting 30 years for a title, I mean that takes something off your club, to be honest. 30
now what?
something
Yeah,
years
like
without a
two league
title, that
titles in
takes
30
You
something
years is
wait
off
them
crazy,
your
time
bro.
club.
that
Like
come boss. I just cycles. I
That's a
just
good point.
cycles.
That's a good point.
that's a long
Tato.
cycle. That's a
Wait.
long
No, but I'm
cycle.
just saying it's
Yeah.
cycle
3
because
decades of cycle.
Manchester United went about 26 or so years as to for a title as well.
But remember,
But
Liverpool 30
in the
year came
modern day,
after Liverpool 30
it
year
kind
came
of
after
different though.
dominating. But remember, CC,
Isn't it?
Liverpool 30 year wait came
Yeah,
after
the modern day is
dominating
different.
In the
dominating in the
modern
80s.
day now, with the social media impact, it kind of different now.
The
And
social
that's
media
what
impact
I'm
is huge
trying
in
to
my
say to
opinion. I
you
think the
that
social media was
Manchester
huge.
United has gotten Manchester United basically
Before.
gotten the benefit of the social media. All of these things that came in, they were successful right in that period.
But
So
but
it's
CC,
almost like
one point is that nobody wants to be a Scouser. Nobody wants to associate themselves with Liverpool. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the truth. People would rather associate themselves with
have you
Arsenal,
lost it?
Chelsea,
Have you
these
lost
clubs,
it?
Man City. But no, like
I don't
what's up
think you've
Liverpool?
eaten well in the morning, bro. Like
Hold
you're
on,
malnourished. No.
hold on. Cause me know say Tato did that cuss about this. So Tato, why your pint on this? Cause you did really bring on that topic, you know. So why your pint
Bro,
on
it's
this?
it's
No,
I'm
I'll tell
just
you what
hearing a lot
really
of
disturb. What disturb the most is what make your club what make your club the most successful club? What make
Trophies.
your club
Which club?
successful? Trophies,
Trophies.
right?
Mhm.
Trophies make your club more
yeah.
successful, right?
Yeah.
Yo, the Umo Champion League you have.
6.
All right. Calamity Umo Champion League you have.
3.
Which one of the which competition is the most recognizable competition that put your club out there for say yes?
I'd say the Premier League's harder to win than the Champions League, though.
In
The
club
What?
Premier
football.
League,
But
brother.
No, listen.
anyway,
No, a league is harder to win than
anyway,
a cup.
Hold on.
Listen,
that being said, with
It
that
is
being
though.
said,
Me I think it
with that
debatably
being
now.
said,
Actually, I think it debatably now. But
with that being
yeah.
said, Manchester United have 20 and Liverpool has no one. Thank God, Liverpool has no win 20. So we see them have more title outside of the Premier League and them tie with Manchester United base in the inside the Premier League. So when we think about it now, this bag of jersey sale and this your club is more recognizable. The one that want to come watch your club, what have you. It doesn't change the fact of which club is more successful, as you said, when it comes on to numbers.
Yeah.
So this big debate and this bag of feelings we are throw around. Manchester City win the treble and no one's scared. Like Liverpool, Manchester United have the most fans in the world. Why a Man U fan not gonna care if Manchester City win a treble? Is Manchester
No,
City
I'm
going
not
to
saying
support it?
United fans care. I'm saying nobody in general cares. Take United
And
fan.
why would a Chelsea fan care?
No,
Why
no.
would a Liverpool
Calamity.
fan
You know,
care?
like how everybody
Why
talk about United.
nobody
No,
same way
listen. What
If
I'm
we
trying to
won
say.
a treble, we'll be talking about it right
I
now,
know
though.
for a fact if Man U win the Europa League title, the same way all went to the fan, the media and our behave against Liverpool, you're going to get the same reaction. I just I go make the nice. No, over the years,
Bro, we don't have to
I
make
will
the
not troop
United
under the
fans don't have
rug.
to make the
You're
nice.
just jealous of our
I
success,
will not troop
Kishan.
We
under
don't
the
have
Just
to
rug
make it
jealous.
of
nice,
what?
actually.
I
You're
will not troop
you're like
under
my
the rug.
ex-girlfriend, bro.
Well, I
You're
will
just
not troop
jealous of me.
under the rug what Alex Ferguson did in the late 90s going into the early 2000s. But if
No, go
we feel
straight up
like
to the
this
early 2010s.
to the early 2010. But if you go be if you go put context behind it, bro, and if you really think about where the media is and the age bracket of who is controlling the media, as well, all we can agree to that age bracket is the type of fans them who are supporting Manchester United that watch their club win those early.
No, brother. All people, them are sorry.
Well, no, exactly. I people tell us. Let me show you a thing, Premier. If 40 years from now, let's say Manchester City go for the same dominance that Man U went on, we can better say this I go beat the debate again. Yeah, I go have a lot of Manchester City fans because, as I say, winning trophies is what attract new fans. And not young people like me, we are grow because don't put the beard on my face and take me a 40. I am just 24-year-old. So yes, my club is going to be a
I have
club
a
where
question
we
for you. How you come
watch
to support? How you come to support Man City in the first place?
Aguero.
Aguero.
him young man, any man
And
at
which
24. The man,
Which year?
the man born in
and the thing is,
2000.
the thing is,
I'm on a born in 2000.
I
in a
can't believe man
2000, and the
City
thing is,
exist though.
when we finish,
That's
the thing
crazy.
is, I don't have a bigger brother or a big uncle or a father where, them do that carry man you, so me in the house and get manipulated to carry
So
a
which
club that
year
really
start
and
support City?
truly.
Which year Aguero go City?
Huh?
Which year Aguero go City?
Which 2012,
2011.
level
So this
12.
from this year start support him.
No, 2014.
When the man are basically 13,
When I'm a
brother.
14-year-old in a high school, like,
Really?
even I'm sure I will never come
So how
out
you
here
come
and
across
nah.
Aguero? Like how you come across to just say Aguero make a support City?
Aguero, a Chelsea fan, introduced me to Premier League, like football the realest way. And me as a person, will like me,
Oh, the
as
man, I know
Calamity,
that.
as
Remember when
Calamity,
me
I
in
love.
high school, me I watch
As Calamity,
Rooney.
as Calamity, I love to be the opposition. So like it was a thing where like I don't want Chelsea to be my team because this person we are coming into football is Chelsea's theme team.
And when it start support Barcelona?
But 2012.
So
But
you support
Man,
Barcelona
young
is
Barcelona
more.
instead of
bro.
just
More
support.
Barcelona is more like a manipulated because they tell me the younger me have a friend older than me where him carry Barcelona, some me I carry Barcelona because my rating like that time I was a youth champion footballer. So this City is more of my choice. But don't get it wrong.
Honestly speaking, I don't buy the thing with City fans in terms of how them come to support the club. I just
No, you
not buy it.
never bite because what? You grew up seeing City as a team that finished in the bottom 15, 16. I'm gonna get that. We don't have anything against that. But the thing where you have to accept that is no, as what you say, for the last 10 years, what City has done, the only team that did do it, I did Manchester United.
Put it like this. Tattoo never see Arsenal live a title.
Exactly.
That probably never have much sense. At the time.
No, when
When
you live a
Arsenal-
title, I'm like about 4-year-old. When you
But
live a
Tato,
title,
let me tell you this. There's a
So me, I
difference when
watch-
United.
me, I
There's
watch
a
Dennis
difference when
Bergkamp. Hold
United.
on.
Let me tell you. There's a difference when United and Liverpool and Chelsea them did start win trophies and people start support them. I think there was a uniqueness in terms of how people support them. Bro,
Don't like yourself.
You City fans, that is the peak of being glory hunters, bro. PSG, Man City, those clubs. I'm
yeah,
telling you,
like
bro.
yourself.
When a young fan starts to support Manchester City, Man United, Arsenal, or whatever, it's true genuine love of those clubs.
No.
Glory hunting to
No.
man.
No, there's no glory hunting
Glory
involved. Because
Glory
there's a
hunters.
genuine, as them start use the word aura, there's a different aura around these clubs in
All
terms
right,
of
hold on.
Listen.
Man, them, Yodi is leaving now, so Yodi, big up yourself here, turn out again.
Yeah,
You see
Yodi.
me? I don't know,
Respect for
so
the
I get
turnout,
you on
Yodi.
as always. When the
See you
Arsenal
again.
fan them roll out, we are get you on again. You see
Yeah,
me?
we'll
again,
be
man,
here back,
thank you.
Yodi. If you're sure. Yeah, so Kish, like really and true. It could have me not care. All right, that whole debate, where you want to go. Like it doesn't change the fact for me that Liverpool is the number one club in England.
So why
And
them not
yes,
talk
you
about
have
them the
the
most then?
biggest, jersey sale. Yes, you have. You probably have better players based on who me come watch in terms of history for who me come see. Because you have the Cristiano Ronaldo, no doubt, the GOAT. You have the past schools. Honestly, you
Wayne
turn over
Rooney
a
them.
player to me will also come help me win my first Premier League title, which is in Tevez. So yes, I respect you.
Shall never do that.
So I appreciate and respect for everything that Manchester United has done for football in terms also in England. But for me, the final fact is Liverpool is the biggest club right now.
I don't
England.
think in all honesty, I think the word biggest and most successful is
Successful.
two
All right.
different things.
All
You
right.
see, if
All right.
Manchester United get relegated tomorrow, Manchester United will still be the biggest club in England.
All right. All right. Most
Liverpool will
successful,
be the most
definitely.
Still have
successful
to
club.
reach a relegation stages still.
Yeah, but if Liverpool will be the most successful based on them trophy count, and Manchester United maybe the next 5 years can win 4 trophy and
Four
them have a
trophies,
higher
yeah.
trophy count than
So in
Liverpool.
terms of
But
fan base,
Liverpool will
Manchester United is the biggest, but in terms of numbers, Liverpool is more successful. Are you okay with that, Kish?
I don't see them as more successful. Even more
No, to be honest, like
there's
you have
no
to understand.
Kish, I don't think there's
Liverpool
no
and
debate on success right now.
Liverpool and
It's
Man U
really
have this big rivalry, and I to be honest, that's where I want to be. Like my club Chelsea, more in another conversation where people are create a bag of storm over who is the biggest club and all them thing. They understand what I say? Like we are not there. I would just have to accept it because they run a one part. I go and take time.
I go and take time, Bill. Because
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I can understand the conversation. And it's a never-ending battle between Liverpool and Manchester United. And to be honest, the rest are winning in a conversation. Like if we want to say modern, the last 10 years, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. If a
No, I'm saying
modern, as I say, man, you
that's
will
a
live
different.
off of them
You have
history.
Man City, but I'm saying if we look at the overall totality, like the rest of us is not in the
Bro,
conversation. It's those
the
two fan base.
last, since like 2015, we and Liverpool have the same amount of trophies now.
Well, but the difference between you are, bro, the
The
thing is
only
for me, you
difference
know,
is Liverpool trophies are slightly better.
no, I need no, it don't have to do with trophies and calamity. You see, for me, bro, cause remember, you know, me start watch football like say 2013 coming to now. For me, I can count how much time I say Manchester United being competitive in a competition. I can count it for over the years. I can tell you how much time Mr. Chelsea being competitive. Like
But
I'm so
that is what me
competitive.
feel like say at the club era, I manipulate your mind for things, certain things.
But yeah, that is true. That's what I'm saying. I can't count how much time I say Liverpool. I can't count how much time I say Chelsea,
Solid
Man
point, brother.
City. You see, so the thing is, with what? How many times did I really watch Man U come second since me start watch football right away? I think about one time,
Two.
We're not
two,
compete.
two
We're
or
not
one.
going to compete
With
good in the
Jose and
European competitions over years. Knock out
one
a
with
group
Jose and
stage and
one
then
with
push the step.
Oli.
Just say go,
Well,
man. It's just your experience. It's just your experience because
experience, yeah, and
I
that's
was
why,
You're
watching.
joking,
and
self,
that's
brother.
why
Yeah,
CC me that allow the debate alone. But then really and truly,
No, man, I can't already beat you. Have to talk, man.
no
yeah,
man.
that's
Just
what I'm
like how
saying.
I
That's
watched
what I'm
Thierry
saying. I come
Henry in
give
a
my
Champions League
me,
final. I
me
probably
come give
wouldn't
my
see that.
opinion on it. As I'm saying, based on trophy based on jersey sale and commercial, I do agree. Of course, Manchester United are the biggest, cause I think a Beckham jersey would have sell more than a Thierry Henry jersey. And if we check them history in the Premier League, I think Thierry Henry have a bigger legacy in the Premier League than Beckham. But his jersey is going to sell more. Am I wrong? Am I right? Tell me if I'm wrong.
Based on fan base, yeah, you're probably right.
It depends. Because remember, say Beckham win about Beckham probably win about 5 Premier League. You know, around about that. You know, Beckham win more Premier League than Thierry Henry,
That,
More than
but
likely,
Tierney,
than
Beckham
but
deserve
Tierney
the
have a
Arsenal
same
better
than
legacy
Henry.
in
in
the
the
Premier
Premier
League
League.
era.
Yeah,
Eh?
but regardless, what I must say is that people
Yeah,
still
but I
consider
think
Thierry
because
Henry the best player in the Premier League.
Beckham
Yeah,
image
people.
thing, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So, and even with Pogba, I think a Pogba jersey would have probably even said more than even Kun Aguero one. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, most
A Pogba,
likely.
man,
Yeah.
exactly. But Pogba is not more successful in the Premier League than Kun Aguero or than Eva. I think, all right, let's take to Kuno. I think him jersey
Wanna
would have
buy a
sell more than
Pogba
Eva
jersey, though?
KDB one. I think him jersey say would have be bigger than Eva KDB one.
That one the kind of sticky though, but maybe.
Me,
No, let me tell you, no, you know why? The thing about it is as you said, how people gravitate towards certain type of player not have that gravitas there. For want of a better term.
and
Then
what me I say
like a
is Man
Andrea
U always
Pirlo,
get those players.
yeah,
Man U get the
obviously
Di
like a
Maria, the
yeah.
Cavani, the Alexis Sanchez. Then get the players them where
And
players
because of money
gravitate to,
make them players with
where
them, you know.
fans gravitate to.
All
That's a
right.
simple. So with jersey sale, for sure, Manchester United is definitely gonna have the biggest commercial. And as I say, I will never take away what they did in the late 90s to the early 2010s. But just be realistic now. At the moment, they're on a downward spiral.
Yeah, I'm gonna think nobody. No, I'm gonna think realistically, no Manchester United fan is going to disagree with the type of part of the pan right now. You see me? But people, we got energy to say. You see me? So thanks to all the man them for come out. You see it? All of the channel them I got in the description. You see me? So please
Definitely.
make sure so you follow the man them. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell because that I gonna notify you know once the video them a drop. You see me? All right, people out. Big up on yourself.